Are you ready? 20 seconds start now. Ten seconds remaining. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, guys and gals, here we are back again. Man, this feels good to be in this chair with this headset on. I've been gone for 2 weeks. I want to thank Sirhan and I want to thank Mr. First Down for sitting in this chair along with Cheese. Thank you guys very much for helping us out and still keeping the Lights Out Sports podcast going while I was on vacation with my family back in O-H-I-O. All right. Cheese, I haven't seen you in a little bit. We've been talking over text and stuff, but how you been, man? I'm liking all the black, buddy. I'm liking all the black.
There's black?
Yeah, the shirt, the chair, the soul. The shirt, the chair.
This is dark gray.
Oh, is it dark gray? I'm so sorry.
Mike is somewhat colorblind. It happens on vacation.
It does. How you been, buddy?
I've been good, man. How was vacation? You have fun?
It was a nice break. Got to go back and see some things and meet some people and, made myself feel old because I had to go back and do the class reunion thing and then, turn 53 while I was gone and all that stuff.
Class reunion. We're going to have to hear stories.
Oh, there's not much to tell, man. They didn't like me when I was there in school. They liked me even worse when I was there for the reunion, so don't worry about it.
They liked you worse than you were in high school.
Not really. I can't say that.
Worse.
Shout out to Scott Porter. He did a great job of putting all that together for us. I appreciate that. He might be listening. He's a big Ohio State guy, so every once in a while. All right, man. I can't wait. We already got over 25 people jumped on. We had people, now it just jumped up to over 40. So we had a ton of people who jumped on as soon as we clicked live. I mean, they were there. They were ready, man. They must have all been your people.
Yeah, probably. I got a following. I got. There's a fan club, maybe. Who knows?
Who knows? We might have to get you your own fan club. You have to get more merch and everything else for you.
Oh, merch. Yes, we do. Oh, speak of the merch.
Uh-oh.
Football with Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
The channel YouTube, Football Cheese, is the X account. Make sure you follow me. And, if I forget to follow back, DM me and let me know. Because I forget sometimes.
Yeah, so you're saying you're a little absent-minded? I mean, I might be colorblind, but I'd rather be colorblind than absent-minded.
I'm just saying, sometimes I don't check my notifications, so I don't always follow back. I've gotten some angry DMs. Hey, man, you don't follow me back. I'm like, well, I don't check, man.
Right. It is kind of hard to check and keep up on everything. We're busy guys, and we got another busy guy that we'll be bringing on here in just a minute. Wayne, if you've seen our draft specials, he's been on both of them. He is now a big-time guy, got his own sports thing that he's doing. I'll let him talk about that a little bit more, but we are extremely excited to have Wayne on here and get his opinions on some of the topics that we will be doing today. Let's see here. Over here. No. Okay. We're not doing advertisements for you people and all that stuff. Stop. All right. I guess it's nice to be popular enough to have trolls, but they're still a pain in the butt. All right. So we're not doing that. Anyway.
Said hi.
Let's get into this, man.
Irene said hi. Hi, Irene.
Hello, Irene. I don't see Irene saying hi, but okay.
I see it on my YouTube. So
it's on your YouTube. Okay.
Speak of trolls.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do so well with Bears videos, and they figured out that the trolling helped my algorithm. So now they're going around saying, "Don't watch his videos, the Bears." But I have a Bears video coming out Thursday, so we'll see what happens. Update next week.
All right. I will look very forward to that, buddy. All right. So, yeah, we'll get to all of this. But first, I almost forget how this goes, man. It's been 2 weeks. It's got me a little, okay, what am I doing here? I got all these buttons around me and notes around me. We got to get to Wayne and everything else. But before we do that, we've got to do our 5 flamin' 5 and 5. Let me explain to everybody how this works. Cheese gets 5 minutes on a countdown fire clock. If he can answer all 5 of these questions before the clock turns to 0, he will not burst into flames. So far, it's not happened. We're crossing our fingers for the day, but so far, it's not happened.
Mm-hmm.
When he does that,
it's close.
We've done really close a couple of times. You're right. But when all that happens, if he can get all 5 questions right, then there's a bonus question. And actually, that's when we're going to pull Wayne in. Wayne's going to be part of the bonus question. First time ever that a guest has ever been part of the bonus question. So we got all kinds of good stuff here. Yes, you know what? You ask nicely, I will. There you go.
Yes. Dixon Maez, you have a wonderful, wonderful birthday. Jonathan, let me know if I said that correctly. I pronounced it because we don't want Mike pronouncing any names.
That's very true. We don't want Mike pronouncing much of anything. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the 5 flamin' 5 and 5. The countdown will begin. Oh, I gotta adjust this because it's already 5 seconds in. The countdown will begin.
He wants me to burst into flames.
The countdown will begin when I read the first question. Cheese. We're actually going to do 2 NCAA basketball questions for a change here. We've never done that before either.
That's not good.
Oh, sure it is. I'm sure you've read all the notes. That's why I send them to you.
What notes? What notes? We don't prepare for this. We just do it on the fly. What are you talking about?
No, we do not. I watched a lot of podcasts over my 2-week vacation, and I saw a lot of people doing things on the fly. We will not, sir, do things on the fly. Oh, it was terrible podcasting. Anyway, Dusty May is rumored to have left Michigan to avoid a looming transfer portal tampering scandal. Of course, he's going to the Dallas Mavericks. This gives me Harbaugh vibes, Cheese. Do you think this will tarnish Michigan or Dallas more?
It won't tarnish the Dallas Mavericks at all. They don't care. It's NBA doesn't care. Will it tarnish Michigan? Well, Harbaugh didn't. Michigan. So what has been proven by Jim Harbaugh and now by Dustin May is we can do minor infractions and still keep our national title. And it's told every other team in college, basketball and football, we can do this. As long as it's minor infractions, we can keep our national title. Michigan got a slap on the wrist. Michigan basketball, nothing's going to happen to it. There's something just wrong with Michigan. There's something wrong there. They do anything and everything to win. And NCAA needs to figure this out because they always seem to make the wrong decision on just about anything. But I don't like this, and it's really hard to root for Michigan in anything.
All right. I agree with you. We'll see how this all works. I'd like to comment more, but I don't want to take away from your seconds here. Let me give you the second question. The Falcons and star tight end Kyle Pitts today agreed to terms on a 3-year, $54 million contract with $36 million guaranteed. Is this a good deal for Kyle Pitts, a good deal for the Falcons, or a good deal for both?
It's a good deal for Kyle Pitts. That's an absolute steal. He just stole the Falcons' $36 million guaranteed. Congratulations to him. He's not very good. The only time he produces is when Drake London's out. If you look at his stats, his analytics. Even when Drake London's on the field, he doesn't do anything. He's was a top 5 pick that never produced like it. I'm shocked that they did this. He's done much better with Kirk Cousins than Michael Penix Jr. I think it's a terrible move for the Falcons, and this is great for Tucker Kraft because Tucker Kraft can be extended as 1 year left to deal with the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be asking for $20 million now, so it's good for Tucker Kraft. I think it's a terrible move for the Falcons. Kyle Pitts has never been that great. He's had stretches, but never been really that great. So yeah, good for his agent.
Okay. The third question here in our 5 Flamin' 5 and 5 is this, buddy. Another NCAA. Per the NCAA transfer rules, when a head coach change happens, like what just did with Michigan, players have a 15-day period when they can enter the transfer portal, and that starts 5 days after the announcement is official. Is this the correct rule, and why or why not do you think it's the correct rule to do?
No, you shouldn't be able to transfer at all if a coach leaves. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You're picking the university, not the coach. So basically here's a scenario. So say if you're, I don't know, say you're Duke, for example, or North Carolina, and Louisville or Pitt has a really good coach, we can go just give them more money, pluck that coach, and then you've ruined all their best players could just transfer to Duke or North Carolina. It's a terrible rule. You're picking the university. If the coach leaves, too bad. I don't like this rule at all, and no, I don't think it should exist.
Okay, that's it. That is the Cheese perspective on question number 3. We'll move to 4. The Steelers, Cheese, have added linebacker Jacoby Windman and Pittsburgh native wide receiver Levi Wentz to boost depth and competition in training camp. But Cheese, is it better to do this, adding people, or should you already pretty much know who your starters are by this point in training camp?
They know who their starters are. They're just filling out the roster. Those guys are very, very unlikely to make the team. They're just adding depth. That simple.
Okay. I like if questions and they're just that simple. That means we got some time to do the last one. And here it is.
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk is a talented receiver. Cheese, who is going to eventually trade for him, and what do you think it'll basically cost?
No one's going to give anything for him. That's why the 49ers are holding out hope that somebody is stupid enough to give them a pick for him. But the way he reacted in the season, he wants out. They want something for him, but everyone knows that. Every team knows that the 49ers are holding on to him because they don't have to trade him right away. So eventually they're just going to have to release him. And so I do not think he's going to be traded. I think he's going to be released sometime during camp. If anyone does trade for him, unlikely. It'd be like a conditional 7th rounder, in my opinion.
Okay, so it's going to be something minimal then.
I think they're going to have to release him. They want something for him, but they're not going to get anything.
All right. I asked you the additional question, so I flipped that off of there. We were good, man. We were good.
Okay.
You're always good with that.
I'm always right at the end. It's unbelievable how.
Look at that. Somebody agrees with Cheese. What the heck is happening to this show? It's just a few minutes in and we're already doing this.
Kyle Pitts, when they franchise him, I'm like, okay, well, I get it. 1 year deal, but I'm shocked to give him $36 million guaranteed. I think it's a huge, huge mistake.
All right. And then Jonathan let you know, yes, you did pronounce the birthday person's name correctly. So good going, buddy. Look at you. Starting off this show with a bang already. We haven't even brought our guest on yet. We're getting ready to, though. So here's the bonus question. I want to see if you agree with me on this. All right. I got to get to my notes here. So give me just a second to pull them up real fast. I think the NFL is allowing FIFA, the soccer ignoramuses, to punk them out right now. I don't like what they're doing. They're making them, okay, so we want to use your stadiums, NFL, and we want to have all of this stuff, NFL, but we want you to cover up all of your advertising. We want you to cover up all of your stadium names, and we want you to bend over backwards for us. Cheese, and then I'll ask Wayne here in a second, what in the world is the NFL doing? And are they being punked out by soccer, for God's sake?
Yeah. I don't even know how to react. I don't watch. I have not watched any World Cup. I'm not going to. I think soccer's about as boring a sport. Maybe golf's a little more boring. Yeah. I don't have any interest in it. But the NFL, why let them use your stadium if you're going to block it out? Why even do that? Why? Right. What's the point?
I don't understand.
I don't understand either. I don't know if they were pressured. I don't know if we get the World Cup. I have no idea. But it just, why not have your stuff out there? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me. But what we're going to do right now is I'm going to see if Wayne can shed some light on this. Maybe he's got a different opinion. I'm going to bring him up here on the show. Here he is. How you doing, Wayne? Let me smack that around. There we go. What's going on, Wayne?
Not too much. Obviously, happy birthday, Dixon Maez. Whatever age you're going to be, happy birthday for that. Excellent. Excited to be on here.
Fantastic, man. We appreciate you joining us. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff here with Wayne here as we keep going. But Wayne, help us here, man. What is the advantage for the NFL in allowing these soccer teams to use their stadiums yet cover up everything that they can cover up? What's the advantage? I don't get it. She's doesn't get it. What about yourself, buddy?
The advantage is a lump sum payment for the use of the stadium. So basically, it's kind of like if I go into the VFW, right, and I say I'm going to use this for my birthday party, like Dixon Maez, you might rent out the VFW, right? You go in there and you say, I'm going to
plugging all this stuff right now.
You're like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to cover up all the stuff I don't like at the VFW. I'm going to put my picture, because it's my birthday. I'm going to put my picture everywhere, and that's what I want to do. Listen, I paid the $500 fee or whatever it is for the VFW. I can do whatever I want. I can decorate it however I want. I can take down whatever decorations they have. I can do whatever I want in there. Same thing with the World Cup. They paid a flat fee for the stadium. They can do whatever they want in there. They can take down all the advertisements they want. They can put up their own advertisements. They paid a flat fee, and it was probably a pretty hefty sum to do it.
Well, I would assume it was a pretty hefty sum. I'll give you some numbers here. Let me put my phone over here so you can't hear it vibrate. And by the way, I told these guys off air, I know the TV behind me doesn't have the symbol on it like it usually does. I don't know what happened. All right. I've been on vacation for a couple of weeks. I come back, I turn the TV on, put it on the spot where it's supposed to be, and it said, nope, not today. So I was like, okay. So Madam Priest here, right? Says, I don't know, man. Soccer is the most popular sport in the world. There's a reason for that, but I won't get into that because it's going to make a lot of people mad.
I hate that argument.
I know. Well, okay. You know what? Let's get into it. Do you know why it's the most popular sport in the world? Because it's the cheapest sport in the world. You can put two sticks on a field and say, kick this ball between these two sticks. That's all you got to have. That's literally all you have to have for soccer. I know that's bare bones and everything else, but you don't have to have bats and gloves and all this other stuff like you have to have helmets and pads and everything else for all the other sports that cost so much more money. I totally get it that a lot of people want a sport that is not extremely expensive. And in my opinion, maybe you guys can agree or disagree with me, but I think that's why soccer is the most popular sport in the world, just because of the small financial burden that comes on parents and things like that to be able to do that.
Go ahead, Wayne.
Oh, I would say I disagree with that. I think that the reason soccer is so popular is because it's got a several 100-year head start on all the other sports. Basically, it's been around a lot longer. That's why it's more popular. The cost has nothing to do with it. Basketball is just as cheap as soccer to play. It's one ball. You set up a milk crate. You throw it into the milk crate. You know, it's the same thing. But basketball is not as popular. Basketball is not even as popular as cricket, which you do need bats and gloves and pads and all kinds of stuff for. So really, it has to do with the age of the sport itself. That's why I think it's so popular.
All right.
I mean,
you know what?
Actually, I mean, you both make good points. So I agree with both of you.
Oh, look at that. Look at the guy in the middle just being, wait, you think we're going to squish you because you're in the middle? Come on now.
Well, definitely American football has not been around nearly as long. So, but obviously it's way bigger in America.
So I did want to get some financial stuff with you guys here. So for AT&T Stadium, the FIFA related costs to AT&T Stadium is $352.5 million on a quick Google search. All right. They do host 9 matches, so they've got 94,000 seat stadium. If you assume that they sell out the stadium for all 9 matches, and they probably will. My wife has been watching all kinds of crazy TikToks, and she'll show me stuff, and I'll be like, "Stop it! I don't even like that sport. Stop showing me that crap." So one game will get them, 3,723. And if you take 3,723 and divide it by 9, they've got to make $414 extra dollars per seat just to break even with the $352.5 million. Now, to be honest, I looked up a bunch of stuff, and I'm not saying Wayne's lying to me, but I didn't realize there was a fee that they were paying each stadium. So, Wayne, I agree with you, man. That fee has got to be astronomical for it to pan out and for it to even out for them, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, as far as the cost of FIFA, it's nothing, right? I mean, we look at like the Live Golf Tour. I know Cheese doesn't watch golf, but the Live Golf Tour, they were paying these guys.
Cheese only watches football. That's it.
Yeah, they're paying these guys $300 million to come over and play, win or lose. And you're like, how can they afford that? Well, because it's coming out of the Saudi fund that has $800 billion in it. FIFA's in the same boat. They have unlimited money. $300 million is the cost of pencils for them. Like, they don't care. So they spend it on they don't care if they break even or not. They just need the space for their fans, and they need someplace to play the games.
It's really that simple.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Again, I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't know a whole lot about soccer. I just didn't get the point. And I was hoping that, with someone like Wayne on with us or with Cheese with us here, that we can kind of discuss between the three of us and figure out just what in the world was going on. And you know what? Bingo. I think we did. All right, guys. I appreciate that. So now, Wayne, Cheese has got some questions for you. Cheese, you got your questions pulled up, or do you need me to ask them for you, buddy?
I got them pulled up.
All right, excellent. Let's go ahead and start with that. I know you've got some specific questions for the New England Patriots, which is Wayne's team. Now, Wayne, before we get too far into this, let's talk about you for a minute. You are over top of a brand new sports website. Tell us about that, buddy.
Yeah, I am the CEO at AnubisSports.com. It is a sports blogging website where people can go find stories. It is opinion-based stories only. We don't do any news. We don't do any recaps of what happened. It is basically just opinion pieces. So you show up, that's what you're going to get. There's no clickbait. And it's really kind of a training site. We bring on a lot of newer writers. We teach them how to write so that they can go on to bigger and better things like Sports Illustrated and ESPN, or they can stick around with us, which we love as well. But AnubisSports.com is a great, I think you'll always be happy with what you read there.
All right, and we'll talk about some things that are on Anubis Sports as we go a little bit here. But, Cheese, go ahead and give Wayne the first question you've got for him on the New England Patriots.
All righty. So the worst kept secret in the NFL, the Patriots traded for wide receiver A.J. Brown. They gave up a 5th-round pick in the 2027 draft and a 2028 first-rounder. So in your opinion, do you think the Patriots won this trade?
I don't think they won the trade. I think that it's kind of what was going to happen. I think he was going to get the Eagles were going to get a first-round pick for him. I think nobody wanted to give up a 2027. I know we're going to get into that in another question. Nobody wanted to give up a 2027 first. The Patriots might have been the only team willing to give up a 2028 first. I don't even know if anyone was offering that. I think that it was basically they had a deal in place for a while. I don't like it. Never did like it. When the rumors first started, I didn't like it. I don't think it's a great deal for them. I hate it. But, I don't think either team really won. I think it was a break-even deal.
Okay, so I got to ask this.
You have to ask why he hates it. Right?
Yeah, I see. I think I don't think he's a top 5 receiver, but I still think he's a top 10. I rewatched some Eagles games, and he is really good after the catch. He's really good down the field. You have to know where he is. So why specifically do you not like it?
I don't like it because I feel like there were other options out there. There are other bigger needs out there. I know they've drafted receiver in the last couple drafts, not in the first round, but they've drafted receivers. If you're going to make a trade for a wide receiver, there was talk that Brian Thomas might be available with Jacksonville, a much younger player, had a 1,300-yard season a couple years ago. Still under his rookie deal for the next couple of years. So you have that control plus the 5th-year team option. I know that right now, A.J. Brown's contract looks good, but he's going to want more money than what he's getting right now. He's going to get, $35-40 million a year. You could have Brian Thomas Jr. for $5 million a year, and he's going to give you, I think, similar numbers what you get from AJ Brown. I agree that AJ Brown is a more established receiver. He's got more tenure and all that, but I just feel like for what you could have gotten value-wise, I would have rather seen that, or Jordan Addison maybe. I just don't think it was a big need, and I think they went out like it was like their biggest need, and they spent like it was.
So you didn't think they needed the number one guy, like a go-to receiver? Because the receiving core, to me, in the playoffs just didn't do enough. In my opinion, that's one of the reasons why I don't think they won the Super Bowl.
It has to do with Josh McDaniels more than anything else. The way that Josh McDaniels designs offenses, you don't need a number one receiver. If you have one, it's great, but you don't. He built with Julian Edelman. He built with Wes Welker. He had Jacoby Myers. Yeah, guys, and that's the other thing too. Guys like Edelman and Jacoby Myers, they were quarterbacks in college, right? So they understand the complexities of Josh McDaniels' wide receiver routes that they run, the route trees. They're extremely complicated. A guy like Chad Johnson, who's phenomenally talented, he had 126 targets his last year in Cincinnati. Comes over to New England the very next year, 32 targets. He couldn't pick up the routes. He didn't understand it, because he's not a quarterback. He's not cerebral. He's just a super talented guy. I don't know if A.J. Brown is cerebral enough to pick up this offense. People can say, well, Randy Moss is one of the smartest wide receivers of all time. Like, he can pick up any offense in the snap of a finger. So I think that's a much – obviously, A.J. Brown is not Randy Moss. It's not even close. So I think that, to me, it's just apples and oranges. A lot of guys out there are like, yay, we got a quarter or a wide receiver. Great. You gave up a ton for him. You're going to give up some money. It's probably going to cost you Christian Gonzalez in the back end.
Okay. Well, I hope not for them.
Right. I don't think I would want to give up Christian Gonzalez for him. I'll give you that. But so you don't think they can afford both, is what you're saying?
Right, because not only do they have to pay Christian Gonzalez, but then Drake May's up next. He's going to get $65-70 million a year. So at some point, somebody's going to be out of the loop, and it's not going to be A.J. Brown because he's on the hook for the next 4 years.
Okay. Well, I mean, you mentioned 2027 draft. Do you think it was important to keep their first-round pick next year and only give up a first round in 2028?
Yes and no. I mean, again, obviously 2027 is being hailed as like the best draft class in the last 10, 15, 20 years. And it is extremely deep. It's a really great draft class, mostly for quarterbacks, which they don't need, but for a lot of different positions. And the thing is, obviously, they're probably going to be picking next year, just like this year, like the 25 to 30 range. They're probably going to be at the top of the AFC East anyways. So, a player that they could get in 2020 or in 2027 at 25 is probably a player who would go top 15 in 2028. So that's the way they're looking at it. We're going to get a really good player here in 2027. We don't mind giving up that 2028 pick because the player we get in 2027 is going to be twice as good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also think they have 2 years until that draft, so they can maybe move back next year. Maybe they can get the pick back somehow. Like, they have time. It pushes back, and they, like I said, that they were in the Super Bowl last year. They can use their first round pick to help them next year too. So I like the move for them, obviously more than you. And one of the reasons I like it is they push that first round pick back, and they can get better in the short term.
Plus, you have to think about it this way. A.J. Brown could be a rental. I mean, all the guaranteed money was paid by Tennessee. New England's not really on the hook for much of that. So at the end of this season, if for whatever reason him and Mike Vrabel don't work out, him and Drake May don't work out, you throw him back into the trade market and you get back that first round pick. I mean, a lot of teams out there will give up a 2028 first for A.J. Brown, even if he has a down year this year.
Yeah, and at worst, you cost yourself a 2027 fifth rounder if that happens. Yeah. All right. And you get 1 year of A.J. Brown. All right. So let's talk about the Patriots' first round pick. They traded up 3 spots in the late first round to draft Utah offensive tackle Caleb Lomu. He was expected to be drafted higher than this. Do you like the value of the pick?
I don't love the value of the pick. It's okay. I mean, the way I know you said it's supposed to be drafted higher than this. I mean, according to NFL mock draft database, he was the overall ranking for him was 26. The consensus draft on him was 27 to the 49ers. Mel Kiper had him ranked 25th. 7th offensive lineman.
Some people had him in the top 20, though. There were some people that thought he was.
There's always going to be some people who have one guy here or there. I mean, but ultimately, it seems like the experts had him kind of in that 20 to 30 range. So, yeah, they had to trade up because obviously there was that run on tackles. I mean, the 6 guys who were ranked ahead of him went in the top 21. So if they wanted a tackle, they were going to have to move up, or they're not going to get one of the top 7 tackles. And after that, it was a huge drop off. So I think that I'm not blown away by the value. Like I said, again, just like AJ Brown, it's fair. It's where he was supposed to go.
I think part of the reason they drafted Lomu is insurance, just in case Will Campbell can't stay at left tackle. Lomu played left tackle at Utah. Patriots are saying that Lomu will eventually take over right tackle for Morgan Moses, and that Will Campbell is definitely their left tackle of the future. Do you agree with me? Do you think part of it is just in case Campbell can't stay out there?
I don't think that was part of it. I think that obviously he is insurance, but anybody you draft at tackle is going to be insurance. Whether they're drafted 5, 20, or 60, they're going to be insurance. So he can be insurance. I don't think that was why they picked him, though. I think they needed a right tackle. They said, we got Will Campbell at left. We need a right tackle. This guy's the best tackle on the board. If we wait and we don't get him, then we have to probably take somebody in the 3rd or 4th rounds. We nowhere near the talent of this guy. So let's go get this guy. We have Will Campbell and Lomu. That's a great, bookend for us. So that's why I think they looked at it. Is like, we want a starting. Now, if they do end up switching them, and Will goes to right and Lomu goes to left, I think that's fine. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm a big Will Campbell fan. Okay. I was impressed with him last year. I think he's going to work out.
Okay, well, that was my next question. So you're not concerned at all with Will Campbell because he did struggle in the playoffs.
He did, and allegedly, again, this could be just press, right? Is that he had a knee injury and he was battling through a knee injury.
Yeah.
But we also know that he came into the draft with questions about the length of his arms. Like, there was questions about that, and he did have some issues with penalties a little bit in his rookie year. But he's a rookie. All rookies have kind of those same issues. I think overall he played great. I thought he was great in the pass blocking scheme, much better than obviously anything they've had recently. I know I mentioned when we did the draft, the show, I said that, I'm one of those guys, and it's probably going to be laughed at now, but I had said I wanted the Patriots to take, Joe Alt at number 3 instead of Drake May way back when, because I love him so much as a tackle. And that's, but they took Drake May. That's fine. Will Campbell's, I think he's a really, really good tackle. He's really good. I think that, he had the knee injury. If it was a knee injury, I think if he comes out this year in the first 8 games of the year, he's getting owned like he was in the Super Bowl, then I'll have bigger questions. But based on how he played, the 17-game regular season, I know he got hurt there as well, but based on the games he played, I'm very pleased with him at left tackle.
I don't think arm length was the issue. I think his technique at times was a problem in the playoffs. I saw him lunging at times. So I don't think it was an arm length thing. I think he just needs to just play better. Maybe it was an issue too, but I just felt like his technique was off a little bit. I don't know if you noticed that as well.
Yeah, like I said, well, the arm length thing was the draft. When he was drafted, that was the big knock on him. But no, I think, and it didn't affect him all during the regular season. But like I said, in the playoffs, he did get owned throughout the playoffs, and I'm going to chalk it up to the knee injury, and technique will affect that. Anybody who's ever injured their ankle or their knee or any lower body extremity, you start walking a little bit differently, then your midsection hurts, then your arms or your shoulders hurt because you're tilted a certain way, and next thing you know, it's like, I can't imagine trying to block 260-pound speed rushers on a sore knee.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. All right, so I want to just ask you about Mike Vrabel, because he was caught in a cheating scandal with reporter Diana Rossini. She had to resign from The Athletic, lost her whole career, and it seems like nothing has happened to Mike Vrabel. Are you okay with that?
It's an interesting question, because it's like, are you okay with double standards? Because we know they exist, and am I okay with them existing? Well, obviously nobody should be okay with them existing, but it's also a difference between being okay with it and also saying that's just the way it is and nothing I can do about it, right? So there's a double standard factor to it, but there's also a factor to it that has nothing to do with double standards, and that's this. Sports writers, take it from me, are a dime a dozen. Elite NFL head coaches are 32 out of 8 billion. So basically, if you're going to get rid of one or the other, are you going to get rid of the one that you can replace by throwing an ad on Indeed and you'll have somebody the very next day? Or are you going to take somebody, or are you going to get rid of the guy who took you to the Super Bowl a year after you went 4-13? It's really, regardless of male or female, that's the double standard. But pushing that aside, he's a much, 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 much more valuable commodity in the world than she is.
That's true. You don't think he should have been, you don't think he should be any punishment at all? Do you think?
I mean, if he broke the rules, I mean, there's no it shouldn't be any punishment for cheating. I mean, listen, does it make you a bad person or whatnot? Maybe, right? But at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, though, it's like it has nothing to do with your job. You know what I mean? So it's like if he was leaking information to her that he shouldn't have been, then that's obviously an issue. But if it was just like he cheated on his wife, like why would the NFL ever or any team ever punish you for that?
Yeah. Wait. I have to butt in here for a moment.
Yeah,
okay?
I was about to butt in, but Mike, you go ahead.
so if it makes you a bad person, I don't want you on my team. Rafael Devers right now is getting tons and tons of crap for standing on first base, waving off a guy. No, I don't want this guy to come in and pinch run for me. I can do it. My name's Rafi Devers, and I can make $300 million a year. Get this little chump away from me. And then when he is going to come in and run for you. Then he goes and he puts the hat over his face, and we have no idea what he said in his hat, but I'm sure there's a reason he put his hat over top of his mouth when he said it, right? Then he goes into the dugout. Somebody tries to tell him great job because he did his job. All right, he got on base. That was Rafael Devers' job. They were down by a run. It was a ninth inning, and if there's a knock into that splits the gap, he is never going to score from first base where the other guy will. So the coach is just trying to win a game. Tell Rafael Devers to stop being a bad teammate, sit down and shut his mouth. And that's kind of where I'm going with this whole thing. Wayne, you're like, oh, okay, well, just because it makes him a bad guy doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with it. And I would kind of disagree with that. It does make it to where there's something wrong with it. And there's not just 32 people who are qualified for those head coaching jobs. There's 40 or 50 of them out there. So you can replace him as well.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would argue against that too, because it's like saying you could replace Bill Belichick, and they tried, and it didn't work out. And so it's taken them a couple of tries to bring in somebody who's really good from the Belichick coaching tree.
Let's not put him on that level yet. Let's not.
No. But I'm just saying, like the 32 thing. Like I said, we look at the NFL. He is an elite coach. Like when he left Tennessee, everyone. I don't know anybody who thought he should have been fired. Everyone blew up Tennessee for that move. For getting rid of him. And then he's a free agent. Obviously, he could have gone to any team that had a head coach opening. They all wanted him, but he wanted to go to New England. Couldn't go there because Mayo had that, in his contract. They had to hire him. But that's who Kraft wanted was Vrabel. He goes there again. Very first year, you go to the Super Bowl. I'm one of those people who I'm a philosopher in life, right? More so than anything else. I'm a philosopher, and a philosopher believes that there is no such thing as right and wrong when it comes to morals. There's no such thing. They're make believe. We make them up in our own mind, right? And so we can say, I said, does cheating make him a bad person as a question? I didn't say it does make him a bad person. Personally, we all make mistakes. We're all flawed people. If we're going to suspend Mike Vrabel for cheating on his wife, then why don't we suspend this other coach because he didn't tip enough at the drive-through? You know what I mean? Like, where do we draw the line?
Same thing.
No, it's not the same thing to you. But in philosophy, it is the same thing. Well, it's just an action.
I just could not disagree with you more. I believe in morals. I believe in right and wrong. I was raised that way. I could not disagree more. I just feel like the Patriots, I get if they decide to fire him, someone's going to hire him right away. That's what's going to happen. There's someone out there that would. So
that's true.
If they decide to move on, I get it. But if I owned a team, I would just say, man, you're not coaching this team anymore. I just feel like there's some integrity there, and I don't think he necessarily should be punished, like you said, like suspended. I think that would be a big problem. Even though players are suspended for doing bad things, obviously he wasn't did anything illegal. But it just calls into question integrity. And,
well, you've got 53 players on the team, and probably 40 of them cheat on their wives when they're out on the road. Right. And so it's like, are we going to suspend all of them too? And we're going to do it for all 32 teams. So 1,200 guys are getting suspended because they can't stay faithful. I mean, where do we draw the line?
And the drawing the line part, Wayne, is a very good question because the other half of this, right, is you're going to have a Patriot player do something this season that people are just going to, oh, no, I can't believe he did that. And then they're going to look at the Patriots and say, okay, what are you going to do to him? And if they punish the player and they didn't punish their coach, then what kind of message are they sending?
Well, if they punish a player for doing something on the field, it's going to be a completely different thing. The Patriots aren't going to punish any of their players for doing something off the field unless it's a criminal act. That's the truth of all 32 NFL franchises. None of them are high and mighty enough to suspend or do anything to somebody who didn't commit a criminal act. So I think that's where it's going to – so, yes, if one of the players cheated on their wife and got suspended, then there would certainly be a huge to-do. But if we say, hey, some guy got – arrested for choking his wife, And you're like, well, how come you suspended him and not Vrabel? Well, come on now. Now we're talking about, again, tipping the guy versus cheating on the wife.
Well, that's different. But you mentioned, okay, a player cheats. A lot of players cheat. Sure, they do. But they're not the leader of the team. The head coach is the leader of the team. He sets an example. So I think it's different. And I think the head coach is the leader of the team. And I think he needs to be held at a higher standard. So I don't like the situation. It's a shame it happened. I just don't. I don't know. I don't like the way it happened. And I don't like that Mike Vrabel can pretend to go to therapy and that's unfixed or something. I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the whole apology tour of anybody doing anything, we can talk. That's a whole nother topic, right? Like everybody who has to go out and do a statement that was drafted by their lawyers and then go and do this other thing to try to clean up their image. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I'm just saying, like I said, based on what he does on the field, I see no reason. Like I said, I'll hire that guy 10 times out of 10. I think he's a great leader. Regardless of what he does in his personal life, his players love him. They think he's great. And that's the main thing. If the players didn't like him, if he was Gerard Mayo and Gerard Mayo did this, right? More fire to fire him, or more fuel on the fire. So.
If he was Adam Gase.
Right, exactly. He's gone. Give me a reason.
And you know what, Wayne? That's why I like your site. Your site is opinion-based. Now, you have a slogan for your site. Tell me what that slogan is and what that means to you, Wayne.
Yeah, opinion-driven content professionally written. Right. And what it really means is kind of what I said before, where it's like, we only do opinion-based content. We don't do any, breaking news. We don't do any recaps of games or recaps of the finals. We will give our opinion about it. And we're going to do it in a professional way. I'm a professional writer. I've had over 20 years of professional writing experience. I'm the one that's training all these writers to write like professionals. So when you go into this website and you read any article, I feel comfortable putting my name on it, stamping it, and saying, you're going to appreciate this article. It doesn't sound like it was written by some amateur in a basement.
Right, and let me go over a few of these things. I was on your site earlier, and not that I'm not on your site all the time, because I am, but I was, right now you've got how MLB's new draft rules and are mimicking the NFL and the NBA. You've got that on your site right now for people to go and see. What's the New York Mets' real problem? You can read an article about that on Anubis, right? Correct?
Anubis Sports, yeah.
Anubis Sports. What star does the Kansas City Chiefs need to have a breakout season for them to have a good season and get to the playoffs? There's an article about that. With the new offensive coordinator, Mike McDaniel, something that Cheese and I have talked about before, are the Chargers now real contenders just by adding McDaniel? We both think the answer is yes. I didn't actually read the article, but I'm going to here when this is done. And there's a writer that says San Francisco will miss the playoffs. And then just to make sure that you guys cover everything, you even cover wrestling, because you've got a Dark Side of the Ring 7 preview up on your site right now. So for those of you who really want great opinionated sports articles, Wayne can tell you where to go. And I just rattled you off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles that he's got up there that are great, intriguing articles for all of you guys to read. That's why we've got Wayne on the show. All right, buddy. We got a few more things for you here. So I couldn't load the Tom Brady video because, in our notes it says Tom Brady video, and that's all it says. Hopefully both of you got a chance to see it. I've got it on my phone. Look at that. Look at this cute little picture of Tom. I've got him on the phone right here, and I'm going to put the phone close to the mic. Hopefully this will work, and then we'll talk about what he says on this 1 minute and 9 second video after it plays. So let's do that. Oh, it would help if I turned the volume up.
I think about him because when I think about being a dad, I think about him because of what my dad meant to me. And I know I'm not as good a dad to my kids that my dad's been to me. And I use them as my example as to how to keep a family together, and to care, and to support, and to love. And we want our kids to be happy. I want them to be respectful of people. I want them to be kind. I want to make the world a better place. I think maybe what I'd wish for my children is to find something they really love to do like I have. But I think I've taken it to an extreme too, there are imbalances in my life, and I hope they don't take things as far as I've taken them. Yeah. I want them to experience great success in whatever they do, but there's a torment about me that I don't wish upon them.
All right, so I think that's pretty interesting. Wayne, I'll start with you because you're the New England Patriot guy. You have probably watched more Tom Brady than what Cheese and well, I don't know about what Cheese has because Cheese watches a lot, but I'm sure you've watched more than what I have. Tell me what your opinion is of Tom Brady, and what's your opinion? Has it changed after you listened to that video about him saying that maybe he took some things too far, and because of that, he wasn't a great dad? By the way, happy Father's Day. I know it's a little late, but happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Yes, indeed. Happy Father's Day to everyone. As far as how I feel about Tom Brady, obviously as a Patriots fan, Tom Brady is the GOAT, right? He's the greatest player of all time, greatest quarterback of all time. I think he's incredible. He's amazing. He's a Patriot for life. I know he won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. He's always going to be a Patriot, a New England Patriot. He built this franchise. It carried it on his shoulders. Him and Belichick. I don't want to take anything away from Belichick because I know that's always the argument. But, Tom Brady's just absolutely incredible. As far as the video, I don't think it doesn't affect the way I think about him. I think it's consistent with how a lot of high-performing athletes live their lives. It's like to get to that level, you have to have one thing on your mind all the time, every day, and nothing else. And you have to think that way all the way through college just to get to the pros. Then once you're in the pros, you have to think that way every single day, or you're going to be out of a job. And then you have to think that way every single day to get to the level that he has, which is the top of the mountain. 7 championship rings, right? And when you live that life, there are things that you sacrifice. I heard that video and I didn't think of it. I thought, one, obviously he loves his dad. And we know that he's been very open about that for a long time. Mm-hmm. I think that was less about him feeling bad about himself and more about him just really reflecting how much he loves his dad and what his dad did for him. Also at the end, when he talked about how he has a torment about him that he hopes his kids don't have, it's that drive that I mentioned. It's that drive for success. Nowhere in the video did he mention regrets. He just said, I hope they don't have this thing that I have because it is a burden to bear. And I think that that's what he was saying. And so I understand that. I think Derek Jeter did it right? Go out, sleep with all the women you want, live your life, play baseball, win World Series. And then when you're retired, get married and have kids, and that way you don't have to focus or split your focus between your profession and your family life. He did it the right way. I think Tom had kids. I honestly think Tom was kind of like forced into the family situation. I don't think he really wanted that. If he could have it his way, he would have done it Jeter's way. But it is what it is.
Derek Jeter's a role. Wait, Derek. I don't know. So there's no right or wrong. Okay. So basically, you can do whatever you want. And then Derek Jeter's a role. Like they're doing it the right way. Wait, what is going on here? No. This is not happening. Sorry, Wayne. I could not disagree more with you on so many points tonight.
That's why we love doing this show. We're still all going to be friends when this is all said and done. We don't have to agree on everything, obviously.
Wow.
Your face is red, though, buddy. You okay?
I just disagree. And wow.
So let me ask you this, Cheese. What kind of dedication does it take from a guy? And do you think it's really hard to have a family and a successful sports career?
I'll say this. I watched a video of Tom Brady talking about when he got drafted in the 6th round. Like he just kept falling. And he was like in tears. And he was like, he really thought, I'm going to have to sell insurance. Like he didn't think he was going to be drafted. He didn't think anyone wanted him. Mm-hmm. I think that made him better as a quarterback. I think that put a chip on his shoulder to be one of the best ever, to prove all these teams. The Patriots passed on him, at least 5 times maybe? So it wasn't like Belichick, I know this guy's going to be great. So I think he just, like I said, put a chip on his shoulders, like, I want to be the best. So I think that's, and like Wayne said, I think that's one of the reasons why he was so successful is he worked as hard or harder than anyone to be the best.
I mean, I know, Cheese, that you're not a father, and that's not an insult to you. It's just a fact, right? You got a beautiful fiance.
No,
Or
girlfriend.
Okay. I know. All right. I'm sorry. And boy, we're killing it now.
Now I'm turning red. She's watching, right?
But she is beautiful, though. All right. So let's do that part. You keep this up, she's going to be my fiance. Anyway, so
you're married. You're a happily married man.
Well, I mean, according to Wayne, it doesn't matter, so it's okay. No, just kidding. I knew you were going to say that, and I had that set up the whole time. Anyway, so there's got to be a line, though, right? There's, this is kind of for both of you. I mean, Wayne, I don't know if you have children or anything like that. We've never had that discussion between the two of us. I mean, when I had my website a long time ago, before I started this podcast stuff, my wife called the website "The Other Woman" all the time. It's one of the she did. It's one of the reasons why when I went on this past vacation,
I cannot wait to meet her.
You will. When I went on this past vacation, when I just got back from, I told her, yeah, an hour a day, honey. Give me an hour a day to do stuff and repost things and all of that. But I'm not going to do a lot on the site. I'm going to take a vacation. It's going to be you and me. It's going to be us going back to where we grew up. And, I'm going to spend some time with you and spend some time doing those things. So I'm not going to sit here in front of everybody and tell you that it didn't eat away at me going, oh, I need to be doing this and I need to be doing that. And so I get it when these things happen with people, but there's a line somewhere, right? Where you've got to be a family guy and you've got to be a team guy. Where's the line at? How do we draw that, gentlemen?
The line is drawn before either one happens. And that's the problem, right? Because Tom Brady drew the line in the sand that he was going to be a great quarterback and he was going to work harder than anybody else. And he drew that line in the sand when he was a teenager before he ever had a girlfriend, right? That became his identity. And so when he did have a family, it doesn't change your identity. You can't change your identity, or you can, but it's really hard. It takes lots of psychotherapy, right? Mm-hmm. Basically, he drew that line in the sand. He said, this is who I am. And that's who he was his entire life. He had kids, but he was still Tom Brady, the quarterback, not Tom Brady, the dad, because he had drawn that line in the sand. I grew up in a family that was an incredibly loving family. Like, I love my family so much, and I wanted to have my own family. I said, this is what I want. I want to have this. I want to be just like these people, And I'm not saying Tom didn't feel that way, but I got married. I had my kid who just graduated high school this past summer, and I have no regrets about being a parent because I always put my family first. Even when it came to work, if work was like, hey, we need you to work extra hours, I would say, no, this is family time. I'm not working the extra hours. And if they said it's going to cost you your job, I'll find another job. Like, that's how hard my line in the sand was. Family comes first 100% of the time. But I drew that line when I was 11 years old or 9 years old, right? Just like Tom drew his line. And unfortunately, when I got to my professional life, it's hurt me professionally that I wouldn't commit to work the way that Tom committed to his work. And it hurt Tom familially because he committed to work instead of committing to the family. And we made those commitments before any of that stuff happened in our lives.
Cheese?
Well, I'll just say this. A lot of athletes get married young and have kids during their professional careers. He knows a lot more about Tom Brady, the family man, than I do. Mm-hmm. So, I don't, if it was forced on him kids, okay. I don't know, but, I just, I don't, I think there's, I don't know. Like I said, I just don't know enough about Tom Brady as a father and his family. I don't listen to gossip, so I don't know much. But I know I think he was married to an actress or something. So I don't know enough about it to make opinion on that aspect of his life.
You're really, and we'll prove this here in the next segment that we're going to go to here. You're the sports guy. You don't care about anything else that goes on around it. You don't care about Tay-Tay or any of those other people. You're just like, show me what's on the field, and that's what I want to see, right?
When they showed Taylor Swift, I just cringe. I don't want to see her. I want to watch Travis Kelce play football. I just don't. I didn't like it. Like, I loved watching the Astros win the World Series. I live in Houston. But when Justin Verlander's model girlfriend, I can't think of her name, she's taking over and answering questions in the conversation, I was just like, get her the heck out of there. What are they talking to her for? I can't think of her name. But
Kate Upton?
Kate Upton.
Yeah.
Like they were like she was answering more questions than Justin Verlander. What are we doing? This is not sports. To answer your question.
Okay. Yeah, I know that about you. So I don't know how you're going to react to this one. This is the one that you asked me about kind of off air, and we're going to jump into this real quick. Wayne, this might be just you and me. I don't know. So I'm going to do either a 3 or a 5-part series on my other podcast that I do later on this week called The Sports Pulpit, and I'm going to do it called Pride in Baseball, not the pride that you have in baseball, but the LGBTQ community when they call it Pride in Baseball. I read the article that you actually wrote, and I want to ask you a few questions promoting that article. And of course, hey, I'm not going to lie about it, the upcoming podcast that I'll be doing here in a few days. So Wayne, in the article, you said San Francisco is considered the hub of the LGBTQ community and their fight for equality. Yet, at least when it comes to baseball, they are celebrated when most other organizations are not. So what equality do you think they have to fight for?
Well, again, when I say the fight for equality, I think I'm speaking obviously in the big picture terms. I mean, it's great if the New York Yankees want to celebrate by having a Pride Night. I shouldn't be like, oh, that's it. It's level now. Everybody has a level playing field and everybody's treated the same. It's not that, right? It's obviously it's been years and years and years of not being treated the same. And even to this day, just like with civil rights, we've come miles from where we were years ago, right? Mm-hmm. But we're still a long way from where we should be, which is kind of that whole level playing field. And so, yes, they are celebrated in baseball, probably more than any other sport. And that's great. Or maybe like a lot of the female sports do it more, like the WNBA and women's soccer and stuff like that. But I do think that it's great that baseball does it. But when I say the fight for equality, obviously I'm talking about the big picture fight for equality, not just within sports.
Okay, so Pride Month is June, so that's usually why baseball celebrates it so much. And there is one team that refuses to do a Pride celebration. I'll talk about that in the upcoming podcast. Second thing here, Wayne, the players who wrote the verses on their caps said they were paying respect to their faith, and in it's quoted in your story as their words, diversity and inclusion means accepting people of all faiths and their beliefs. Do you agree with that definition, sir?
100%. Yeah. Inclusion in general means including everybody. And like I said, I'm a pro-equality guy on every single issue and every single topic. Women should be equal with men. Gay and homosexual people should be equal with straight people. Minorities should be equal with white people. Everyone should just be equal, right? And so, like, that's my whole belief. And diversity and inclusion, I believe, is all about trying to make things equal. And it comes down to faiths as well, right? If you are agnostic or atheist or Muslim or Hindu or Christian, it doesn't matter. You're all the same. You're all equal. I know they don't think that, right? There's like, we're right, they're wrong. But no, you're all the same. You're all equal. You're all people. You know what? Love each other, right? That's the ultimate message of all your religions. Love each other, right? And just be kind to each other. So yes, I do agree that diversity means respecting and finding equal ground with all faiths.
All right, last question for you on this topic, sir. You insinuate in your article on anubasports.com that because of the timing, the display of biblical verses may not actually be the true motive of these players. So I'd like for you to explain what you mean by the timing aspect of it. And I need to ask you, can't you celebrate your religious beliefs silently? And, do you have to scream, I'm a lesbian or I'm a Christian from the top of the mountain?
Yeah, so the first part, when I talk about timing, right, I'm talking about doing it on Pride Celebration Day, right? They could do that any day of the week, and they chose to do it that particular day. Now, if I go to somebody's birthday and I start opening up presents because I'm equal to them, right, I'm trying to make their birthday about me. Right, that day was not about those players, and it was not about their faith. It was about pride, right? So let that happen. And if the team wants to hold, or if multiple teams want to hold a faith day where you have multiple faiths and you can write things on your hat and your uniform, awesome. Then I think that the pride people shouldn't try to make that day about themselves either. It was definitely them trying.
Hold on.
He can't keep it. He can't do it.
Okay. The thing is, if it goes against what they believe in, they have every right to do it. it's not like they didn't, like, I'm not wearing pride stuff. It goes against their religion. They have every right to be Christian if they don't believe in some aspects of the LGBTQ. Like, I don't believe in some aspects of it. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe in trans surgeries, gender surgeries for kids. I don't believe that at all. I don't believe men should go in women's bathrooms. I think we should protect our women. So that is part of that group. And if they want to put scripture on that night to show their support for their religion, they have every right to do that. And it just makes me so mad that you are criticized for, like, you have to accept that. The whole LGBT, you have to accept it or you're a horrible person, and you're allowed to criticize Christians for their faith. And I think it's a double standard, and it just really bothers me as a Christian man. And I really I respect them for doing it. So I disagree with you.
And I agree with you that there is a double standard there. And like I said, I believe in equality for everything, right? So if you're going to celebrate one, then celebrate the other. Like, I'm okay with celebrating and having a religion day and celebrating the religious things and saying, hey, listen, Pride, we're not going to do that day. But it's, again, don't infringe on somebody's party is the way I look at it. And the way I explained it to somebody else online is I said, let's look at it this way. If I work at McDonald's, right? Because baseball players basically are just fry cooks, right? So if I work at McDonald's, and my boss says to me, hey, Wayne, tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day. Everybody here is wearing green. I said, well, I'm not Irish. I don't want to wear green. And he's like, well, that's the uniform tomorrow. I can call in sick or I can work in green. I can't come in and wear what I want in protest. And Major League Baseball did the right thing here by giving these guys crap, because they said, listen, we have a rule in our rule book says you are not allowed to write on the uniforms. You are not allowed to doctor the uniforms. You are not allowed to wear what you want. If the team says you have to wear this, you can wear it or you can call in sick. And they can call in sick. And I would be totally fine with that. Again, I think that them trying to make the day that wasn't about them was the thing that I had the issue with. Again, I think they should celebrate. They should have a Christian day. I'm fine with that.
I don't think you should have a Christian day. I don't think they should have a Pride Day. I don't think you should have anything. I don't think you should bring any kind of thing into sports. I watch sports because I don't like what's happening in the world. There's a lot of bad things happening. That's why I've always loved sports, because it's kind of like you get away from that stuff. I don't want a Christian night. I don't want a like nuclear family night. I don't want a Pride night. I don't want any of that.
Your family night, huh? Wow.
Whatever. I don't know. What Texas Rangers have some kind of family night coming up, like they have something like that. And it's not called nuclear family. I don't know what it's called. But the point I'm trying to make is I don't want any of that. I don't want anything political, anything controversial with sports. I like bobblehead night. Yes. I like T-shirt giveaway night. That's what I want. I don't want any of this.
But she's what happens here, buddy. And you know this as well as I do, and Wayne knows this too. You're trying to be diversified, and you're trying to get everybody to come out to your ballpark. And if you think you have to have a day directed towards those people to get them to come out, then that's what you're going to do. I'm sure they had some kind of giveaway, or like the Phoenix Mercury here this weekend had this hat that they gave away. And I kept seeing a lot of people on my Facebook feed and stuff. Oh, look at the Mercury hat. And we went to do this and, la. I didn't hate them for it. They're allowed to go to that game. They're allowed to wear that hat. Would I go to that game? Would I wear that hat? No, I would not. But I'm not them. So I understand where Wayne's coming from, and I also understand where you're coming from. And that's why, and I know, Wayne, I'll give you just a second, but that's why I wanted to do this series on the Sports Pulpit. I'm going to put a lot of research and time into this. I've already written the first 2 episodes, and I'm working on the next 3. This will be a nice kind of controversial thing that hopefully I can find a middle ground for everybody on, and I really look forward to being able to do that. Wayne, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I was just going to answer the second part of your question, which was like, do people have to shout from the rooftops or from the mountaintops? Right. I am Christian, I am gay, or whatever, right? And the answer is they don't have to, but they should be allowed to, right? Because if we say, oh, you're not allowed to shout that, then people shouldn't be allowed to shout, I'm a Jets fan, at least not around me, right? Or people shouldn't be allowed to shout.
Why would anyone admit that? Why would anyone admit this?
But like, it's just like people are proud of who they are, right? Whether they're a fan of a certain team, whether they're a sexual orientation, whether they're a particular race, or whether they're a certain religion. And if you're proud of that, then wear it with pride. I think Tim Tebow does a great job of wearing his religion with pride. And I know that people have given him crap for it in the past. but I think he's been a phenomenal role model as a person who speaks about his faith, and he doesn't do it in a way that demeans or does anything like that. I guarantee you, if they had a Pride Day on the Jets when he was playing there, Tim Tebow would not write verses other than on his things where he usually had the thing under his face, under his eyes. But he would not, because he did not believe in using his religion to divide people, and he would just be like, okay, this is what the uniform that we're wearing today. You know what I mean? And I'm sure if they asked him about it in the game, Tim's always been a very PC guy, and they're like, hey, this is the uniform that we wear. I want to support the team. I'm a great team guy. I want to wear the same uniform as all the rest of my teammates. He would have tried to make it not about that, right? He would have made it about being a teammate. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it. But anyway, just going back to that, yeah, you don't have to shout from the rooftops, but you should be allowed to shout from the rooftops if you want. And I'm one of those people who I support anyone who wants to shout from the rooftop, and I support everybody who wants to do it in silence. Like I said, I'm an equal guy. I love everybody. I'm like Jesus in that way. Like I love everybody.
Oh, we love you too, Wayne. All right, so we're going to talk about the supplemental draft here for a moment. Get away from some of these more controversial things for a second. Wayne, do you want to stick around and do that one, or do you? I know it's late over there where you are. I'll let you make the decision, buddy.
Yeah, I'll talk Sorsby. I'd love to hear what Cheese has to say. Final thoughts on it.
Here we go.
Just one more thing. Like, if you don't have a Pride night, it's not an issue. If you don't have a Christian night, it's not an issue. Just don't do this stuff. That's all I want. Sports should not be about politics at all. And so I can't watch ESPN anymore. They make some kind of issue of everything. I just want to watch sports.
Now, Cheese, on that subject, I will tell you, I have tickets for one Arizona Diamondbacks game right now. It's called Faith and Family Night. Michael W. Smith will be there. Yeah. I love Michael W. Smith. He's a Christian artist. He's one of my favorite guys. I've already bought tickets. I can't wait to go to that game. So that being that the Christian does attract me to that, and because they're supporting that, and a lot of the players will give testimonials before it. I've been to almost every Faith and Family that the Diamondbacks have ever had. When I was in Cincinnati, I did a lot of them for the Reds too. I really like that particular day, and I try my best not to miss that day. So again, this is what I mean. I understand where Wayne's coming from, that we should all be able to do our own thing. But I also understand where you're coming from, and it's like, don't mix up politics and all this other stuff in my sports. I understand both.
Well, I just one more point. It's like, I get what you're saying. Like, that night maybe some fans that aren't Christians may not like that night. I don't want to go to that night. And then maybe some Christians who don't believe in some aspects of Pride might want to not go Pride night. And then you have people not wanting to go. So that's I think that's the point I'm trying to make is, why not just not have any of it? And just, like Wayne said, everyone's equal, just not bring any kind of issue to it. And bobblehead night, that's great. Have stuff like that. But obviously, I get both your guys' points. But I would love a world where there was no politics in sports, because I hate politics, as Mike knows.
I like the controversy in it and everything. So
I know you do.
I know. Okay, buddy. All right, let's go to the supplemental draft here real fast, gentlemen. So let's talk about that. Cheese, I'll start with you. Why did the NFL finally decide to take a stand against someone, and why do you think they selected Sorsby?
Well, they acted like Sorsby didn't produce enough material on why he did it, or we need more time to research his bets or whatever. I think they're full of what. The NFL, I don't really agree with them here. They're sending a message: don't bet on sports. This is what this is all about. The NFL is using Brendan Sorsby as an example. I don't agree with what he did, no doubt about it. I don't think you should be able to bet on not only your own team that you're playing on, or college sports if you play. Okay, that's a different topic, but they're trying to send a message. If you bet, we have control of this. They have control of the situation. They don't have to have a supplemental draft. They're sending a message about gambling and sports betting. That's what this is all about. All that thing is, we didn't know, all that stuff. We need more research. You didn't submit enough. I think they're lying. I think it's bull crap. And I think I liked his lawyer's statement. So it's all about sending a message.
All right. So, I would agree with you. Wayne, what about guys like Josh Gordon and Terrell Pryor and Ahmad Brooks that that the NFL let come in through the draft. And now all of a sudden they're saying no to Brandon Sorsby. You're the equal guy, right? You're the equality guy, as you've already established. How do you feel about this situation?
I fully understand it. I've always said that Terrell Pryor got the rawest deal of anybody in a supplemental draft because he got suspended for like the first 2 games of his rookie season because when he was in college, he got tattoos. So he had to be suspended by the NFL. You know, I mean, that's the biggest crock there is. But they still let him in. You know, and again, his thing was just trading, you know, team memorabilia for tattoos, which nowadays you're allowed to do because of the whole NIL thing. But back then they didn't have it, so you couldn't do it. But with those guys, what I will say, and to Cheese's point, because I completely agree with him, those guys didn't gamble. They didn't bet on their own team. They didn't bet on their teammates in prop bets. You know what I mean? Like, this is a clear message. Like, you cannot gamble because, you know, it's like with Pete Rose. You can say, hey, you know, Aroldis Chapman got in trouble for domestic abuse and he got to pitch the very next season. Well, how come Pete Rose got suspended? Because you can't gamble on your team. You can't do that.
So here's my thing with this right now, though. Every time I watch a baseball game, I can't watch 2 or 3 innings without seeing an ad for a gambling site. I can't look on the outfield walls without seeing a display ad. I can't. The bed that the sporting community has chosen to lie in is now just littered with gambling everything. Didn't they think this was going to happen, guys?
Go ahead, Wayne.
I don't think they thought it was going to happen. I think that, you know, they understand that gambling is a part of life. They're obviously trying to make money on it, right? But I look at it this way: is like, if you're an actor and you go on the set and you want to rewrite the script, they're going to say, no, you can't rewrite the script. We have a scriptwriter who wrote the script. Your job is to act. Well, in the NFL and the NBA, the leagues write the scripts for how the season's going to turn out. They don't want the players writing the scripts. And if you allow them to bet on their own team, they can start writing their own scripts.
All right, Cheese.
They're definitely hypocritical. The NFL, I mean, we know they are. Yeah, you're right. They make so much money off betting. They wanted to legalize betting, but they don't want the players to bet. So, yeah. And Storsby, obviously he's stuck down. They had all the leverage. They could do what they want. And they're telling college athletes, if you bet and you get caught after the draft, we're not going to let you in the NFL. They're trying to tell you this is what we're going to do. And now he cannot sign as a free agent. He has to wait till next draft before he can sign. He cannot sign until like after the draft next year, so he can play in another professional league. But yeah, they're all about making money on betting. But if you bet, we're going to block you from the NFL. And he's stuck now. I mean, he lost a $5 million NIL deal with Texas Tech. Even if he was a third round supplemental pick, he wouldn't have made close to that. And I don't know what he's going to do now. I think they're going to appeal. I wonder if the Players Association will get involved. I don't know if they can get involved because he's not in the NFL. I don't know if they can. So it's just kind of a mess now. I did not expect this. I thought they would have a supplemental draft for them. I'm a little disappointed in the NFL.
I am curious just to follow up with Cheese, because you keep bringing up the fact that he bet, and obviously we talked about different degrees of wrong within morality, right? Is it because he bet, or is it because he hired people to place bets for him on his teammates to hit certain achievements on the field that he had influence over? Like, if he had just played DraftKings and was betting on the Bengals and the Browns, would he be in trouble? Or is it because he specifically bet on his own team and influenced the outcome of it?
That's the reason. The second one, absolutely. Yeah, if you bet on Australian rugby, this probably wouldn't have ever been an issue. But yeah, no, and he was at Indiana and he bet he had, he knows who's hurt. When he never played for Indiana, but he was on the team, he knew who was hurt. He bet on the teams. That's why. Absolutely. The NFL is really worried about it. Calvin Ridley was caught. I think a couple of players were. He was suspended. The NFL doesn't want that. Roger Goodell doesn't want that. And this is why they're doing this.
Now, gentlemen, let me give you this list. Actually, Cheese sent this to me. I forgot about it. I'm going to pull it up real quick. I think this is going to work when I hit this button right here. Maybe it's not. It's not. Hang on. The old man's trying to figure out how to do this real quick.
And it was funny, Mike. I was gonna talk to you about. Maybe we could do. Right before the supplemental draft, it was maybe we do like a little special. I was going to see if Wayne maybe want to do it too. Talk about the prospect. Maybe talk about him for 30 minutes. Oh, that's gone.
Yeah, that's gone, right? That's gone. So I can't pull it up on the screen, but so here are the 2027 NFL Draft quarterback class now. You got Arch Manning, you got Dante Moore, you got Jaden. Help me here, Cheese. Maiva.
I'll just let you just
let me screw it all up. Thanks, buddy. Julian Sayin, Drew Mestamaker. Yeah. Oh, an easy one. CJ Carr, Trinidad Chambliss, Nico. Then Darian Mensa, Lenora Sellers, and now Brandon Sorsby. Where in the world is Brandon Sorsby now even going to get picked? I mean, he is nowhere near what the rest of those people are in that draft, especially if he doesn't play, right? How are we going to evaluate a guy that can't play?
I'll just talk about this real quick with Sorsby. He has a good arm. I think he can make all the throws. So that's always a good start. When you can do that, that's not going to really hurt your draft stock. That's really important to a lot of teams. But if he doesn't play and just sets out a year, it's really going to hurt his draft stock. Nico, whatever, the guy used to be on Tennessee, now is UCLA. I don't think he's a draft prospect at all. Let's just throw him out of there. I don't like him as projecting NFL. Mensa's interesting. He's on Miami now. CJ Carr, Notre Dame, probably a little more underrated. I think I have him higher than consensus right now. Chambliss is interesting. Sellers has all the tools. God, this is really loaded class. Not all these guys though will come out because some will get NIL money and stay. But the fact that he won't play college football and the rest of them will really hurts him. What do you think, Wayne?
No, I agree. I think that, and it's a big difference too, because somebody could point to, like, say, Mike Williams at USC back when he declared for the NFL draft after his sophomore season, because Claret got approved. And so Mike Williams went to the draft. Then it was like overturned, and then he couldn't go back to college because he'd already declared for the draft. So he had to sit out a year where he didn't play football. And then he was a top 10 pick the following year. Mike Williams was also projected to be a top 5 pick the year that he was coming out as a sophomore. Whereas Sorsby, I think, was not projected to be a high draft pick. So I think that the fact that he wasn't projected high and he's going to have to sit out a year, I think the best thing for him would be to try to find another professional league, whether it's the CFL or the UFL or something to showcase, to stay fresh and to showcase what he can do. Otherwise, he's probably going to be looking at being an undrafted free agent next year and just signing with somebody and hoping that he can catch on.
Well, it's not just that. Like, even if his play, their team's not going to draft him, take him off the board because of the betting stuff, because of the gambling. Vegas isn't going to sign him. There's no draft him. Vegas isn't going to draft him. He's not going to live in Vegas. He's a gambling problem. So there's already teams, I don't know how many, that are not even they're going to take him off the board no matter what. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know, one, if he'll play and what teams are thinking. And I have to go back and really watch Cincinnati again. I have very little notes on him, very, very small amount, because I didn't think he would be draft eligible this year. I really focus on them. So I just don't know how he'll be evaluated. It could be all over the place.
I think more so than his performance or his arm, because he'll have a pro day and all that. More than any of that is going to be the interviews, right? And teams are going to get a chance to interview him and find out as much as they can about him. And do they feel like he's remorseful? Do they feel like he will do it again? It's going to be up to them to decide. I mean, they don't know for sure, but their best guess. I'm a big believer in second chances, right? I mean, obviously he made a huge mistake. If he is somebody who's like, hey, I really did learn from this mistake and I'm willing to start from the bottom and do whatever I have to do, I'll be a practice squad quarterback, I'm going to work my way onto the team. That shows character. And I'll be like, yeah, I want a guy like that on the team. But if he's like, hey, man, you guys should draft me, it doesn't matter what, all right, then nobody's going to pick him.
Yeah, the quarterback typically is a leader in the locker room. And if you have a guy with that kind of issue, that could be a problem for some teams.
All right, so the last point I've got on this, and then we'll be done with this subject here. What about other people that are involved in football, like Harbaugh leaving Michigan for L.A., when everybody knew that he had questionable morals? I mean, the NFL can't all of a sudden say, oh, we have moral standards and we're not going to let this gambler into football, but they're going to let Jim Harbaugh come in.
Well, they can, because they did.
But should they, I guess? Maybe that's a better question. Should they?
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to what I said. Jim Harbaugh didn't gamble on his own team. that it's an unbreakable law, right? It's the cardinal rule. You cannot do this. So Greg Hardy beat the hell out of a woman, you know what I mean, and got to be on a team the next year. You know what I mean? Because
Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon. Lots of these guys run
Ray
into this
Rice.
kind of stuff.
Ray Rice was a 2-game suspension for knocking his wife out and then dragging her on the floor. It was awful.
Right. Only because the NFL didn't think that video was going to leak. That's why it was a 2-game suspension. His career was over once the video leaked. But the point is, like I said, they don't care about morals. There is no morality code in the NFL. Just don't bet on this league that you're playing in, and especially on your own team. So that's why Harbaugh is fine, because he didn't break the cardinal sin.
Yeah. But that's also why I'm never going to root for LA, because Harbaugh's there, and to me, it's not fine.
It's just like Harbaugh is a really good coach, and that's why it's like that he could do that. He could cheat at Michigan, maybe not do something. Look, we talked about that with May. He can do minor violations, not get the national title taken away, and pick his job in the NFL because he's such a good coach. And the NFL, like you said, it's not about betting. Doesn't have insider information, so it's okay. And
he meant Vrabel. He said May. He meant. I saw Wayne go, May. What? Huh? He meant Vrabel.
No, I meant May, the
Michigan
basketball coach in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it's like Michigan is figuring out what rules can we break where we will not lose our national title, and it might be a fine, and then we can just bail. The coach can just bail, and we'll get someone else. That's basically what Michigan sports has become, and it makes you really want to root against them every time they play.
It's kind of sad. All right, gentlemen. Wayne, so we're going to jump into some baseball stuff. I know baseball is on Anuba Sports, but it's not necessarily your big thing, even though you just wrote an article about it. So we'll do the rest of this by ourselves on the solo side. We appreciate you coming on with us. Thank you very much, buddy. One more time, tell us where people can find you. Give us your social media handles and stuff like that, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. AnubisSports.com. That's the website. You can go at Anubis Sports HQ on Twitter. Just search Anubis Sports on Facebook. We have our own page on there. We have our own Instagram, Reddit page. Check us out on Reddit. And LinkedIn. We have our own LinkedIn page, so I share a lot of stuff from there. But every article that we post on the site gets posted on socials. But AnubisSports.com. Opinion-driven. Only get opinions, and it's going to be professionally written.
All right. Hey, we're going to be working with Anuba Sports a lot as far as the Lights Out Sports podcast and other stuff here within the realm of All Gloves Off Sports Media. So we're very happy to put that relationship together. And Wayne, I appreciate you doing that with us. And I really, really appreciate you being on with us today here on the Lights Out Sports podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a blast.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. All right, now I got to fix this background here, buddy.
I've been in the smaller circle for a while now.
I know, and it's entrapping you there. Hold on, let me.
I've been in the smaller circle, but I've been the center of attention apparently.
Well, I don't know. I can tell you this: our viewership is, it's getting up there, buddy. It's getting up there. We'll just leave it at that. I don't like to brag too much, but we've done really well tonight.
I feel like this controversial topics we're getting a lot of viewership, so you're going to want more of this. Oh no.
I always want more of this, but I usually give in to you. So, it's the respect factor that I have for you, sir. All right, man. So we're going to jump into some MLB. But of course, before we do that, we have got to give you the best graphic in all of sports, man. They have moved all my stuff around. They did an update over here on me. Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. So now that I've found it, let's go ahead and do it, buddy. Here we go. No, I missed that graphic. I haven't seen it for a long time.
Pretty badass.
Oh, man. There we go. All right. I have been itching to talk baseball with you for quite some time. Let me start off with this. something that I didn't put on the notes, but I wanted to throw this up there real fast. I want you to see this graphic, and I want you to tell me what this kind of means to you here. I need to take the label off the top of us here real fast. Everybody knows what they're watching, so we will remove that really fast, and then I'll add this. This is the largest decrease in postseason odds per Fangraphs since the start of this season.
Ooh.
Yes. Look at some of those.
And the Mets are getting killed by the Cubs tonight.
Yeah. Of course they are. They should be getting killed by pretty much every team. So we'll start down at the bottom. The Giants. We're not going to talk about Rafael Devers. I don't know. We might if we really want to. The Giants' odds of going to the playoffs have decreased by 29%. The Tigers' odds have decreased by 34%. The Royals' odds have decreased by 39%. The Red Sox by 53%. And the New York Mets by 65. Jeez. Are any of these teams going to buy at the trade deadline and try to help those odds?
Tigers are the only one I could see doing it. Scooble's coming back. And just look at the Tigers. They underachieved even with Scooble out. I think the Tigers could definitely buy. Their division's not very tough. I think first place is like 4 or 5 games over 500. So absolutely. Royals have been devastated by pitching injuries. Red Sox suck. I just see the Tigers. What about you?
I don't see any of these teams doing anything. In fact, I think the Tigers should see what they can get out of Tarek Skubal.
I think the next 3 weeks are big for them.
Yes. Yeah. So the next 3 weeks are huge for them. And it will be interesting to see what those 3 weeks do. But I also think even if they do really well, if they're above 500 in the next 3 weeks, I think they've still got to explore the market. I mean, if you can get 3 top prospects for Skubal.
Not on a rental. They can probably get 1 really good prospect and 1 decent one. But even for a rental, even how good he is, there's no way they're getting 3 top 100. There's no way. I'll just use Aroldis Chapman as an example. When the Cubs traded for him from the Yankees, they gave up a top 100 prospect and then another pretty good prospect. That's it. That's what they gave up. You could argue Skubal is more valued than Chapman. He's a starter, not a closer, but still, I don't know. Do you really think they could get 3 top 100 prospects?
I think they can get 3 top 100 prospects. Yes.
Wow. Okay. What team would do that though?
What team would do that?
Yeah, the Braves aren't doing it. They don't even have 3 top 100 prospects.
Let me think about this a minute. What team would be willing to do that? I mean, gosh, I hate to say it. The first name that pops into my head is the Dodgers. I mean, they've got so many top 100 prospects. They could do it.
Zaire Hope, he might be blocked.
Would do it if they wanted to.
Zaire Hope, they could trade him. He's kind of blocked in the outfield. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, how are the Mets still 15%?
That's a great question too. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. They are just awful.
2 outs away from losing.
Now, I did see. Let's talk about your Cubs for a moment. Let's take this off the screen here. I tell you what. Let's add this back on first. There we go, and then we'll take the other off. I did see. I'm sure you know this too. PCA hit his 10th home run in June earlier today too. So his 10th home run in June he hit earlier today.
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. He is about as locked in as you can get. He's been amazing. And if you take away the first 2 weeks, he's been one of the best players in baseball overall. They need him because no one else is consistently hitting, and they're struggling. So PC is absolutely carrying him. Since they moved the leadoff spot, that's where he belongs. He's just flourishing, and he is destroying breaking balls right now, and that used to be a problem for him. So he's taken a weakness and turned it into a strength. So Love watching him play. His defense is amazing. He's just a heck of a player.
To take the next step, though, and we both know this, to take that next step, because we talked about this before. This is what happens. They look and they go, okay, this guy can hit a fastball. Don't throw him a fastball. He can foul off the change until he gets a fastball. So, but wait, he can't hit a breaking ball to save his life. So throw him 4 of those in a row. And if you can't hit him, you can't hit him. Now he's taken that, like you said, he's taken that weakness and making it a strength. And as long as he can keep doing that, the Cubs may have gotten a bargain when they signed PCA to that contract. We'll see how it all works out. I know it's a small sample size right at the moment, but we'll see how it goes.
I think they did, and he used to. What teams were doing early on the season was throwing him low breaking balls that looked knee high with 2 strikes that would go in the dirt. He was swinging all of them. He was swinging like crazy. He started laying off those, and he started adjusting. He started looking for breaking balls in certain counts, and it's completely changed his game. And he's been amazing. And I don't know we're about to we'll talk about the MVP in a second, but I don't know where they'd be without him.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a show. We haven't quite decided when yet on the CBA. We are going to do a show on the All-Star festivities. I'm not sure if we're going to do it a separate show, if we're going to do the Lights Out Sports podcast and just dedicate that whole thing to the All-Star game. Cheese and I talk about it a little bit more. Again, I've been out for 2 weeks. I really haven't spoke to anybody. I focused a lot on my family for those 2 weeks. So you can blame that one on me if you would like. That's fine. But we are.
No one blames you, Mike. You deserve a vacation. You had been on this podcast every time we've done this, so you deserved it.
The Lights Out Sports podcast is something that I love to do. It's a thing for me. It's an escape for me from the job that I do all the time. So I love doing this. The Lights Out Sports podcast is also growing. We've got a lot of people who are requesting interviews and stuff with us. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to restructure the show a little bit, I think. Cheese and I will talk about it more because it's just as much Cheese's show as it is mine. So we need to do that. I know you're going to say we haven't had any. Yeah, it is. We haven't had any top 10 lists for a little bit. There's a reason for that. We're looking at doing things a little bit different, and we'd like your opinion as well. So you want to DM our X account? Then by all means, go ahead and do that. You can go over to @AllGlovesOffSM. And by the way, let me give you a few things that we've put up on our X account in the last 48 hours. You got Stone Cold Steve Austin telling a UFC fighter how stupid he is for calling wrestling fake. We got the newest Arizona Diamondback call-up. He was called up today. Who is that, and what position is he going to play? Ohio State lands their first 2029 class recruit. That's over on All Gloves Off SM. A couple more here. What Jeremiah Love said about Carson Beck. Are you okay over there, buddy?
Well, okay. So the Braves led 4-1. I looked up; they're down 5-4, and then I just looked up to the other TV and see that the Cubs were up 9-3. It's 9-6. So they just give up 3 runs. So this has been, since you started that, it's gone really bad.
I'm sorry about that, sir. So let me just give you one more. That way we'll get out of it quick, and maybe nobody else will score runs against your team. There's also a list of the top 10 dual threat quarterbacks in college football. So we've got all of that plus some more. I'll list you off a few more things here as we go along here in this baseball segment. And of course, that baseball segment is called MLB 4-Pitch Talk. Cheese, let's do question 1.
Yes.
Last year, Ohtani and Judge for MVP. Vogt and Murphy for Manager of the Year. And Tarek Skubal for Cy Young. All of those guys repeated. Of those 5 players, Ohtani, Judge, I guess Vogt and Murphy are managers, not technically players. Vogt for the Guardians, Murphy for the Brewers as managers of the year, and Tarek Skubal for AL Cy Young. How many of those 5 will repeat this season?
This is such a good question, Mike. Skubal's not going to win it, so there you go.
Okay.
So the thing, Judge isn't going to win it. He's hurt. Vogt and and Murphy. Basically, manager of the year has become what team doesn't have a high payroll but still wins. We're going to give their manager of the year. So they've won back-to-back years because the Brewers and the Guardians won't spend any money. I do think they're good managers, though. They're very good managers. Don't get me wrong. Murphy could definitely win again, just because the Brewers just always are good. Ohtani's gonna win. I don't necessarily think he should. I think he wins because he does both, and they just give him. Oh well, he should. I tell you what. We talked about PCA. PCA has been amazing, but there are two players that aren't gonna sniff it. But if you take them off their team, they're not nearly as good.
Okay.
One of them's on your team. One of them's on my team, and that's Corbin Carroll, what he's done for the Diamondbacks, and Matt Olson's done for the Braves. They're not going to win it. Ohtani's going to win it. It sucks, but I think Corbin Carroll, Matt Olson have been tremendous this year for their teams. But I'll say Ohtani and I'll say Murphy wins again. Those two. What do you think?
Well, I'm going to give you another name for MVP on another team that's real close to you down there in Texas. Yordan Alvarez should be in the running for
MVP should win it
as well.
Oh, he should win it. Yeah, he's been amazing this year. Yeah.
And I know he's just a DH, and sometimes people knock that away because you don't play in the field. But again, I believe like what you just said. Take that player off their team, and what happens to that team? That, to me, is an MVP. So if you take Yordan Alvarez off the Astros, they're not near as good as what they are right now. Not that they're great right now, but
No, they're not, but they're still in it. They're still within striking distance because AL West, I think the leaders got like one game over 500. Like the Mariners haven't been nearly as good. Cubs did win the game. Okay, Mets lose again. But if the A's do make a run and win the division, Nick Kurtz is amazing.
He is
out there. He is so good. He can hit. He can absolutely hit, and he's been in the league maybe a year. I think he came up around this time last year. He's absolutely amazing.
I agree with you on Skubal. I don't think they're going to give the manager of the year to the same two guys for a third year in a row.
Probably not, but like who in the National League, who else would you give it to? Maybe Walt Weiss, but like I just don't know. I would give
it to Walt Weiss, actually, because I remember you and I talking about, and we were both like, Walt Weiss, what are they doing? Walt Weiss.
I wasn't happy about it at all.
No, I wasn't happy about it either, and I'm not a Braves fan. I'm sure you were really upset about it. And in fact, I know you were. We talked about it.
I like him better than Snicker, but not much. I wanted someone different. There were like a half a dozen candidates I would have preferred, but he's done a good job. So he's probably the favorite, but Murphy's got to be up there again. They traded Freddie Peralta. They trade people away. They don't spend money, and they still are really good. So,
yeah, I don't know how they did it. I watched the game yesterday between the Reds and the Brewers, and I'm like, okay, just get a hit, guys. Just come on. We got to win this. And somehow, in extra innings, the Brewers clawed their way to a victory again. I don't know what's going on right now. I haven't looked at scores because I've been really concentrating on this podcast tonight. But
they develop. They do such a good job in their farm system developing talent. Mm-hmm. They are so good at that.
And if that's the case,
some teams are. The Rays are really good at that. The Guardians are really good at that. Some franchises are just so much better at other teams than that. White Sox suck at that, So.
And the White Sox are a good team. In fact, we're going to have a White Sox guy on here in the next few weeks. Can't wait to get him on. We'll talk about that more. We got a guest next week. Be watching on our X account. We'll have another guest next week. Go ahead, Chiefs.
I just want to mention one thing about the Brewers versus Reds series.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mizorowski was supposed to pitch, and I believe the final game of the series, they moved him back to Friday to pitch against the Cubs. Yeah, they did that. Yeah.
So they respect the Cubs more than they do the Reds. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Oh, I thought they were just digging the Reds. I didn't even think about. Digging at the Cubs. I didn't even think about the Reds' perspective. But the point is, the Reds don't have to face them. That's good.
That is good. That is good for the Reds anyway. That's good for the Reds. He's one of the dominant pitchers out there.
Oh my God! So the Reds didn't even score tonight.
So that means 2 games in a row they haven't scored.
Oh man! And not Mizorowski. The Brewers, I don't know how they do it. They're good at hitting and they're good at pitching. The defense, but they can hit and they can pitch. So, some guy named Sproat. I never heard of him, Mike. 6 shutout innings, 10 strikeouts. What is going on with the Reds lineup? It should have been a good lineup.
Well, Ellie came back tonight.
Still, like, you look at the season, look at their lineup going the season. You're like, okay, this is at worst above average lineup.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is a 3 to 5 run every game lineup.
Yeah. I know some guys have had down years, but Spencer Steer's been hitting much better.
No,
No, he hasn't.
No, he's like 3 for his last 35 or something like that.
Okay, before that, he was doing well though.
He was. He was on the.
Okay.
He's a streaky hitter. We all,
Yeah.
the Reds fans all know this.
But
Tino Suarez, good guy, love him, streaky hitter.
Yeah.
The problem is if all of them go into a slump at the same time, it's what we get yesterday and today. Nothing. Goose eggs. Yeah. But, we'll probably have a stretch here before too long where they'll all be hitting at the same time. We'll outscore everybody 7-0. And, I guess it all kind of evens out in the wash. Let's talk about the American League for a second. That's what I'm going with here, okay? Let's talk about the AL for a second. It's on pace for the worst winning percentage since interleague play was introduced. Right now, they're on pace for a .483 winning percentage. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is below 500 as a league. How will this fact affect the July 31st trading deadline in the American League, Chiefs?
Great question. What it means is there might be a lot of teams. Most of the American League might still be in it, might be within 3 games of a wild card. So there might be more buyers and sellers in the American League. So, if there's so many teams right around 500 especially in the Central and the West. So, everyone in the West is still in it. Well, the Angels, are they really in it? I mean, maybe not.
Probably not. No.
Probably not. But so we could have a lot of teams that don't sell in the American League.
Right, and that's going to affect what everything else does and what everybody else does. I mean, it's the domino effect that it's going to have is going to be kind of crazy, I think. Even though LA's beating Baltimore tonight, I'm just looking at this here real fast. So let's take a look, right? Let's click the wild card standings and let's see what happens here. I'm sure you can hear me clicking the mouse here in the background.
I'm pulling it up too. Maybe.
I know.
The computer is moving really slow.
Well, it's like the site's frozen.
I have like 15 windows up, so that'd be quiet. Okay.
Well,
American League. Are we pulling up the American League?
Yeah, you can pull it up, buddy. Go ahead. I'll get out of it. And you can pull it up there.
The Yankees are 47-31. Wow.
Yeah, even though they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds.
Yeah, and the Rays are 10 games over 500.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Jays under 500, 1 game under. White Sox and Guardians, they're both right, within 1 game of each other. Seattle's in first place in the West, 41-39. But Houston's 5 games under 500, but only 3.5 out. There's 4 teams within 3.5 games in the West. So there's just a lot of teams. You basically can take out the Angels for sure, probably the Royals with their injuries, and the Red Sox. That's about it. They're the only teams probably that for sure at this point are not going to sell. The Detroit
who are
going to sell, excuse me. Detroit's 11 games under 500, but they could go on a run. And even if they get within like 2 or 3 games under 500, they're probably not going to sell, I don't think, because they'll be right there. So, it's very different from the National League.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They don't have the Rockies or Giants.
Right? So that's half the league, though, Cheese. And what happens if almost half the league doesn't sell? I mean, that'll make what they get for the players go up. That will make all of these players so much harder to get a hold of. I think teams will try to strike early. Your Braves are famous for striking about right now. And knowing the trade deadline is coming up in a month, they're like, okay, that's the guy we're targeting. We're going to go after him, and we're going to offer whatever it takes to get him right now. It's going to change some of the strategies, I think, of some of the National League teams because the American League is so bad.
Possibly. When they added more playoff teams, it's become more of a seller's market because more teams are in it toward the end. So, which could lead to more tanking, unfortunately. But yeah, I think since more teams are in it, do you remember? I mean, of course you remember, duh. But when I was a kid, four teams made it in each league. 4 teams. So eight of the 30 teams made the playoffs. So there was a lot. It was much more of a buyer's market, and now it's much more of a seller's market because 14 teams, I believe, right? Is it 14 teams? Yeah, make the postseason. So
7 in each league. Yep.
The Giants one year in the 90s won 103 games and missed the playoffs because the Braves beat them by a game. So it's very different now. Now you can win 86 games and get in no problem in a wild card.
Yeah, let's look at our third question before we get to batting cleanup, presented by ForwardFan.com, of course, one of our great sponsors. We got more. I didn't put anything in today. I was working on some other stuff. We will make sure we get a lot of these sponsorships and stuff going. In fact, we're looking at maybe even getting 1 or 2 more. So I said it earlier. I was not joking whatsoever. The Lights Out Sports podcast and All Gloves Off Sports Media in general is growing by leaps and bounds. We're adding people to our sports media network and everything. So just stick with us, ladies and gentlemen. You'll get some great sports content if you don't already have some, or from Cheese and I, but you'll get some more. We got a Denver podcast coming. We got Sirhan, the guy who hosted the show a couple of weeks ago. He's going to start doing his show over here with us. So we got a bunch of stuff coming, and it's just going to keep adding to what we're doing. Let's talk about the ABS challenge system, Cheese. I got some interesting stats. You know how I am with stats, and I had some time to kind of sit and grab some. So there have been 4.2 challenges per game this season, with a 53% overturn rate. So, Cheese, is ABS working, and is it good for the game?
So I was reluctant with all these rule changes over the last few years, pitch clock, all this stuff. I was reluctant to a lot of these rules. I'm, like you, I'm old school. I like the baseball I grew up with. I like this though, because I like seeing, obviously Andrew Hand is gone, but C.B. Buckner, these terrible umpires get shown up. Some of them I think you've seen this on X. They make 19, 20, 21 wrong calls a game. I like seeing that. So I think it's working. I like it. What do you think?
I'm with you. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of stats on it. So yeah, I think it's working. And I can't wait to share some more of these stats with you here, buddy. Here we go. ABS is leading to a tighter strike zone. Do you like a tighter strike zone, Cheese?
Well, I like the strike zone they're doing. I like that they're measuring height. They're not just picking it. It's based on the player. I do. I don't like, I hate to mention Angel Hernandez again. He's gone. But I don't like those in TV Buckner where it's like so far, like any umpire can just decide on the strike zone. I want it to be fair. I want to be consistent. So yes, I do like it. And I don't necessarily like a ton of walks. It's kind of boring. I want it consistent and fair.
Okay, and we'll get to the walks in a moment, actually. But, yeah, I mean, inherently, right, you're not going to get everything great about a new system, especially when you put something new into play. Let's talk about batting average. Batting average is continuing to decline, but it only, for everybody who's like, oh, because I've heard this a lot in the last 4 or 5 days. I had some really good conversations with some people who I haven't spoke with in a long time. Mike, batting average is just plummeting. No, it's not. Batting average is declining, but for the season, it declined from 245 to 244. one point.
So it's basically the same.
Yeah. I mean, come on. It's basically the same.
I think this is a topic we can talk about another day, so I'm not going to get too into it.
Okay.
I'm a little surprised it hasn't gone up a little bit. Stayed the same, but it's been something in decline for a while, and we will definitely bring this up on another show. We have much more time on why and the theories. I think it's multiple reasons, but I'm a little surprised with the rule changes. You can challenge that hasn't gone up a little bit.
Well, I think it's being evened out by some of the pitching factions, and I'm sure we will talk about when we get into this subject and we dive into it deeper. So here's your thing. The average walk rate is up to 9.1%, which is the highest that it's been since 2000. That's what, 26 years ago?
That's when Moneyball started. The A's started that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So that's the ABS is doing this, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of hitters are taking more pitches. What do you think about that statement?
I think so, but I also think you can challenge bad pitches. So you watch a lot of baseball, so you've seen ones where they strike out and they tap their head and they review it. Oh no, wait, you walked instead. So I don't necessarily think, maybe a slight bit. I don't necessarily think it's necessarily taking more pitches. I think it's just umpires are having to be held accountable, so there's more walks.
All right. So, we've talked about a tighter strike zone. We went over batting average. The walk rate's up. What about the on-base percentage? Cheese, it's actually, here we go. Maybe this will get you going. It's up. On-base percentage is up 5 points from 315 to 320 for the average hitter. We both like it when more people get on base, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's I honestly saw that set. You sent it to me. I thought it'd be a little higher, but I think that whole 5% is the challenge system. I really do. I don't think there's any other. I think that's why it's up 5%.
All right. So, Cheese, here's my final thought for you. Let's wrap it up by saying this. If you were in charge of a review of the ABS system by Major League Baseball, would you change anything?
One thing, only catchers and hitters can do it. No pitchers. Pitchers lose majority of the time, so it's just wasting time. So I would change it so only a catcher or a hitter can do it. What about you?
I like that change because I think pitchers think all their pitches are strikes.
Yep.
So, and that's kind of inherently how everyone views it. Hi, how you doing?
Hi.
Sorry, we missed you. I haven't been looking at this screen. I've been doing a couple other things off on the side here for a moment, but we appreciate you.
And my buddy Kevin said LFG. Hey, Kevin.
Yes, he did earlier. I put it up there earlier.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, I missed it earlier. Okay,
that's okay. You were having one of your spasms with me and Wayne going.
Probably spasms. Yeah. Okay, that's a term. That's a term. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looked like your head was going to explode. So,
Derek Jeter did it right. That's not my style. It's my lifestyle. So I was just freaked out. I just was like, no, that's not the way to do it. Monogamy is good.
I understand what he was saying, right? He said, don't have a family until you're done with your career. That's what he was saying.
But Derek Jeter was like every Hollywood actress he pretty much dated. He dated anyway, we could go off on this.
Okay.
It's just, wow.
Jeez, do me a favor. Pick an American League team that you think will go or has a chance to go to the playoffs, and we're going to look at the forward fan pricing and see what their ticket prices are right now if you lock in your price and buy it at forwardfan.com, because they sponsor Batting Cleanup for us. Well, give me a team, buddy.
You mentioned the Texas Rangers earlier. They could go out at the trade deadline. They're 3 games under 500. They could get a bat. They need a middle order bat. They have pretty good pitching. I think the Texas Rangers, they won the title a few years back. Mm-hmm. A lot of people forget that. They just, since then, their lineup's been bad. Go out and get a bat. So I think the Rangers, they're only 2.5 games out of first place. They have a shot.
All right. Texas Rangers, if you buy right now at forwardfan.com, their 2026 World Series access for I don't want to mislead anybody. This is for the top of the stadium. You're not going to sit directly behind third base and get this ticket price. $125 to be there. And let me tell you, I've been to one. I've actually been to two. Being there in that atmosphere is absolutely incredible. And the one of them that I was at was Texas and Arizona. So yeah, being there is absolutely.
So $125. How much would it cost if you have to wait and they make it?
Oh, more than that, I guarantee you that.
Thousands,
Especially if they make
thousands, right? Yes. So if you believe in your team, $125, that is all, and you get to go to the World Series. It's an amazing deal.
It is an amazing deal. How about this, buddy? Do the same thing, but let's go National League.
National League.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. So, all right. Arizona Diamondbacks, they're over 500. Arizona, you mentioned them. The Rangers and Diamondbacks were in the World Series 3 years ago. So, Arizona Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll's playing well. I feel like the pitching could be better. I think it's going to get better for Arizona. So tell me, what would Arizona cost right now? What? No, I think it's going to be better. I think it's underachieved. I think Merrill Kelly's doing better. It's going to be better.
No, I can't believe the price is this cheap. That's what I put my head in my hand for. I'm looking at this going, I've got to do this. If I'm a real Diamondbacks fan, I've got to make this move. Like now, you can get World Series tickets
for $100.
$35.
Wow. And they're one game out of the wild card. They're one game out of the playoffs. That's it.
That's fantastic. ForwardFan.com, guys. Wow. That's where you go to. You lock in your price. You get it today, and you still get to go to the World Series if you believe in your team. I'm kind of wondering if I really believe in my team right now. I'm going to have to go over and do it myself. Again, it's ForwardFan.com. Go to their site at ForwardFanHQ on X as well. Great sponsor for the show. All right. So we're going to do batting cleanup.
That's way. I honestly thought it was going to be 100. That's crazy.
I know. So did I. It's like when I saw the price, I was like, no way. It's got to be. I even went out of it and went back into it just to make sure before I said something wrong. But yeah, that's what they say. $35 for Arizona Diamondback tickets to the World Series. Whew. All right, let's run through these last four things, and then we're going to wrap up the show, buddy. Next week on the show, though, we are going to do a few things. We're going to pick our all-stars. Okay. Hang on, I'm not looking at you. Let me look at you real quick in that cute face of yours. All right, so I was going to do it this week.
What?
I was going to do it this week, but let me explain how the all-star ballot goes, just in case you guys don't know. So when you do the first part, phase one, only the first two all-star voting phases are right now. The first one is open right now. It's from June 3rd until this coming Thursday. Fans can vote. There's 8 position players, 1 DH for each league. You fill out the ballot on all MLB clubs, all 30 of them, and then you turn everything in. You can vote up to 5 times a day. Let's not get into that part of it. That's just, okay. Makes it a popularity contest instead of what it should be.
It really is. Yeah.
But the only thing, what happens, so the top, and this is right from MLB.com, I'm reading it right off the screen, the top 2 vote getters at each position and the top 6 outfielders in each league will be revealed on MLB Network on Thursday the 25th. The overall leading vote getter in each league will receive an automatic spot into the team's starting lineup, while the other top vote getters will advance to phase 2. So here's what I really don't like about this, and the reason why we're not doing it right now, because it doesn't pay us to do it now. If you vote right now, guys, and I don't know how you feel about this, Cheese, I don't like this at all. There's only 2 people that are gonna make it in phase 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's the top 2 people in each. The top 2 vote getters will get a starting lineup spot. And then the rest of the people who are voted in just advance to the next round. What makes me want to vote in the first round? Just wait to the second round.
Well, it's especially if someone's so far ahead, they're the one. Why vote? Why not just wait? Yeah. And what is, so if you finish second and you've had this amazing year, and in the second round, maybe you go through a little slump and then then you all of a sudden you even make the All-Star game. Don't like it. There's no perfect way. Some teams show up more than others, but
Well, there is going to be a perfect way, because you and I are going to discuss next week right here on Four Pitch Talk how we would do the All-Star Game selection. I can't wait to get your opinions on this. I've already started writing mine up a little bit.
Let a computer decide. The BCS computer, right?
Sure. I think what I come up with is going to be a little different, and it's going to be interesting. I can't wait to get your context on it next week when we do it. So we're gonna tell everybody how we would do the All-Star Game selection process, and then we're gonna actually do the selection process and tell you who we would pick as our starters, each position, 1 through 9, each league. That's next week, right here on the Lights Out Sports Podcast. But now we're doing batting cleanup, presented by ForwardFan.com. So, Cheese, I don't know if you have seen this. We're going to pull up a picture of it here in about 2 seconds when I get to the right spot on the computer. But what is it here? I lost what I'm sorry. The 2026 Hall of Fame weekend hats have been revealed. I'm kind of a hat guy. Are you a hat guy, buddy?
Now, I have such good hair, it would just cover this.
All right, yeah, you can't be doing that, right? So let me
so
pull up the picture.
Not a hat guy.
There are the hats. I don't know. I kind of like them. I really like the Cincinnati Reds, the old style. That's not the script C, as people like to call it, but it's still
the gray. Is that the gray one?
The gray one.
The gray one. That's cool. I like that one.
Second row, second one down. I really like that one.
The Phillies one looks boring and generic.
Yeah, there's some of them that are just really cool.
Like the Padres. I like the Padres one.
Mm-hmm. What about like there's some logos, like the Houston one really doesn't change. The very last one, last row, last down at the bottom, that's Washington Nationals, where it says DC on it, and I don't know.
No, it's terrible. Braves is just the colors, the difference, but it's pretty cool. I like that color.
I do like the blue.
I got to be honest with you, I have no idea which one's the Cubs. I have no clue.
Hang on,
I missed the Florida Marlins logo, the black Florida Marlins.
Yeah, the Cubs is right above. Isn't that one the one that's right above the Cincinnati one?
No, then that's terrible. That's terrible. That's so boring. I thought that was the White Sox. No,
it might be.
Do the Cubs even have one on here? Let us know in the comments. Arizona Diamondbacks. That was the Randy Johnson Diamondbacks. Mark Grace.
So then, what's the hat? The first row, the very last one in the first row. Isn't that the White Sox one?
First row at the end, the Mariners.
No, at the bottom, down at the bottom.
Oh, that's the Cubs. The bottom, the bottom with the little bear, the white bear. That's Cubs. That's.
Oh, okay. Is that the white bear? Okay.
That's a bear. That's a Cub. But still, it's a terrible hat. It's terrible. It's not good. What is that Detroit? Just a big white D? That's
yeah.
Is that Boston? The red? Some of these are just terrible, Mike.
So yeah, I mean, like if you go in the order here, so let's see, Diamondbacks looks like Oakland A's, then Atlanta Braves, the Boston.
One of them's Boston. One of them's not. Baltimore Orioles, maybe.
Yeah.
And terrible.
Then your Cubs. I'm assuming then that you were right the first time that the C, the top one, is
White Sox. Yeah,
is the White Sox. Then the Reds. Then that's the Cleveland Guardians with their C. Colorado Rockies, Detroit, Houston. You'd think they put them in like alphabetical order or something.
They are by city.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys can look at the rest. What's the one to the left of the boring Phillies one, the white one with the stripes? I can't see what that symbol is.
I believe it's the LA Dodgers, but it's Brooklyn.
Oh, okay.
Brooklyn Dodgers.
Interesting. I mean, some of these I really like. Some of them I wouldn't wear to my funeral. But yeah. Let's
plan Mike's funeral while we're at it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? So yeah, I just wanted to pull those up there, let everybody see them, see if they wanted to purchase some of those. I'm sure they're going to cost $4 a piece. Yeah. With with a couple of zeros after him, after the 4.
Yeah.
Hats are getting ridiculously expensive. All right, the second one we always do 4 here, 4 kind of quick things as we wrap everything up here. This is Batting Cleanup presented by ForwardFan.com. Number 2, Byron Buxton became the second player in Twins history. Man, if I could trade for him, I would in a minute. But he's the second player in Twins history to hit 25 home runs before the All-Star break. Do you know who the first and only other player was to ever do it, Cheese?
Justin Morneau? Torrey Hunter?
No. Way before that. It's
You better just tell me.
okay. Harmon Killebrew did it.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I mean, I've heard of him. I mean, he was. Yeah, I wouldn't have gotten that.
Harmon Killebrew, though, did it 5 times. He hit 25 home runs before the All-Star break in 5 different seasons.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know the name. I know he's a Hall of Famer. I know he had over 500 home runs, maybe 600. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a pretty special guy. Let me throw this up here. We didn't do John Randall here, and it has air conditioning. I don't know what has air conditioning. There's a lot of things that have air conditioning, John.
John, and it has air conditioning. I don't know. He's a Cowboys fan, so he's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
It has. What were we talking about that has air conditioning? I'm trying to figure out.
I don't know. I don't know where he threw that up there.
Is it the hats?
Maybe it's the
World
hats.
Series tickets. Is it Harmon? Is Minnesota have air conditioning now in their stadium? Maybe they do.
Maybe.
Is it still Target Field? Who knows?
So I also wanted to bring this up. I know you were a huge Pat Tillman guy. So am I. The U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin. Maybe one of the only good things that ESPN's going to do. He's going to receive the Pat Tillman Award for his service at the ESPYs for saving 165 lives during the Camp Mystic flood. If you remember that big flood where everything just came rolling down in there on all that.
Yep.
Let me put him up here. That's the guy right there. I wanted to make sure we put a picture of him. U.S. Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin is going to get the Pat Tillman Award. What do you think about his service, and what do you think about the Pat Tillman Award, real quick, Cheese?
I think it's amazing. I think it's well deserved. I remember reading about him. Hadn't thought about him since, but I love hearing that when you sent me the notes. And I don't love that ESPN picks Pat Tillman Award winner, but I love that there's an award. I think this is so well deserving. I'm very, very happy about this.
This actually might make me watch at least part of the ESPYs. I don't think I've watched it in 10 or 12 years, but something like this. If I'm going to be that guy who says I'm not going to watch your program because of all these mistakes you've made, when you do something right, I feel like I'm kind of hypocritical if I don't watch it when I'm really happy about a guy like this getting an award like that. What do you think about that?
I'm not going to watch it, but I will definitely watch the clip. On X, they'll put the clip of him, and I'm going to watch that, or I'll search it after. So, yeah, ESPN, I don't watch their shows. I will watch a sporting event on there. Obviously, if they have a baseball or football game on that I want to watch, I will watch. But yeah, I understand it. Absolutely. If you want to watch at least that segment, for sure.
Right. So let me take the top off here, because I know this next picture that I'm going to put up will be interrupted if I leave the top on there. So let's do that. The final thing we're doing here in MLB batting cleanup presented by ForwardFan.com is this. With Oklahoma, Cheese, winning the 2026 College Baseball Championship, that makes seven straight wins for the SEC in the college championship. Let's pull this up.
Oklahoma, 7 straight and 8 of 9.
I didn't know the 8 of 9 part. I knew the 7 straight. So, there's Oklahoma at the top. Man, that guy's a pretty good sized guy for a high school guy. But anyway,
well, college guy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. College guy's a little different, I guess. I was thinking high school for some reason. So you've got, let me see if I can do this. LSU Well, Oklahoma was the latest one, right? And then
LSU wins it a lot. LSU somehow always seems to win like every 7-8 years.
Yep. Yeah. So they've won 2 of these. So LSU won, and then Tennessee, your spot there, buddy. LSU won again, and then that's Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and then Vanderbilt. So 7 wins in a row for the SEC in the college baseball championship. Impressive? Not really? You expected it? What would you say about it, Cheese?
I didn't expect it. Oregon State won it in 2018. Florida won in 2017. But it's pretty impressive that not only 7 straight, but 8 of 9, but 7 different in the 8 of 9, 7 different schools. It looks like
6 different schools. LSU won it twice.
Okay, so LSU did win twice. Okay, but still, it's not like it's the same team. That Tennessee team was absolutely loaded. I'm a Tennessee fan, so I watched some of that. It's in the South. Baseball is easier played in warmer weather, obviously. So that's part of it. Obviously, Paul Skeens was on LSU. I mean, come on, like, what are you gonna do? You can't hit him. But no, it's pretty impressive. I did not get Mississippi State and Ole Miss back to back. I didn't realize that's pretty cool. And I liked that Oklahoma won this year because they beat North Carolina. I don't like North Carolina. I'm glad they lost.
Okay.
But it was.
We gotta tick off a few more people in the world before we go. So all right, let's just make it the North Carolina people.
I got one more stat for you on the college world.
What Jed Hoyer said about Justin Steele. I sent that to you. You want to talk about that for a second, the Cubs guy?
It looks like he's not going to start when he comes back. He's just going to work out of the bullpen. Unfortunately, he had a setback. He was supposed to come back sometime in May, then June, and then now he didn't have the UCL tear. He had the other elbow injury of surgery, the Radix something. I can't remember, but it's unfortunate because the Cubs starting pitching hasn't been great this year, and they were counting on him. Who knew that Ben Brown would be their best starting pitcher?
He has looked good too.
He has looked good, but that's not good. That's not good.
True.
Kate Horton got hurt. Jamison Tyon
was looking for somebody to step up, right? And he did that.
He did, but a lot of Cubs fans were counting on Steele coming back and being the old Justin Steele. So, while it might help the bullpen, I think him not coming back as starter will definitely hurt their chances to be a contender.
All right, a couple more things you can get over on our X account at All Gloves Off SM. The list of the longest tenured NBA players by one team. That's changed now because there was a trade yesterday in the NBA. And the last thing, you may want to talk about this for a moment too before we bid everybody adieu. Do the Rams have any plans to bring in a veteran backup quarterback? You can read a story that I linked over there on All Gloves Off SM. Before you if you want to talk about that, that's great. But how about tell us where we can find you, Cheese, over on social media and on YouTube.
So YouTube is Football with Cheese, CHEEZ. That's what the logo looks like. And then on X, it's just Football Cheese without the width. So I am doing a whole series. I've been doing it all summer of the 5 biggest moves for every team in the offseason. So I'm doing the NFC North this week. I've done the Vikings on Monday. Today I did the Detroit Lions. Tomorrow is the Green Bay Packers. Yes. Thursday, Chicago Bears. And next week.
Wait. Who's on Thursday?
The Indiana Bears.
Oh, the Bears.
Indiana Bears. Yeah, there you go. I will talk about that in the video. And then next week, looking forward to this, I'm doing the AFC North. So I get to talk all about Mike's Bengals.
I will look forward to that, buddy. I really, really will.
I'm going to do that on Monday. I'm going to do that first.
You do that first?
In case you want to talk about next week's podcast. So I'm going to do the Bengals on Monday, then we'll see. I'll probably put the Browns for last because it's the Browns.
Yeah, why? Nobody cares about them anyway, right?
It's the Browns.
It's the Browns.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Anything you want to add to the show?
No, this was fun. I look forward to talking more about the All-Star game and baseball in general. We got some stuff coming, specials coming. We might do more than just one show a week. We will talk more about that as we go.
Right. So I want to thank Wayne for coming on with us from Anubis Sports. You can go over to his spot. You can go to at Anubis Sports on X as well. Just search it. It'll come up. And he did a really good job, even though he about made Cheese's head explode.
No, it's okay. I like discussion. It's just Mauricio Dubon, change the subject. Just homered for the Braves. They take the lead over the Padres. Yay! What a pickup for the Braves, Mauricio Dubon.
Yeah, I saw where he is quote unquote open to an extension. So yes.
He can play everywhere. He can play like every position but pitcher and catcher.
That was a great move by the Atlanta Braves. Sure, certainly was.
Yep.
All right, buddy. So appreciate everyone that has come back to us. Thank you again to the guys who took my spot over the last 2 weeks, Mr. First Down, and of course, Sirhan. Mr. First Down has a show. He actually has 2 shows here on All Gloves Off Sports Media. Just look them up and you'll be able to figure out when those 2 shows are. Pigskin Perspective, and he has a wrestling show, I believe, and another football show. So, I even though I said 2 and then I rattled off 3, I don't know. You'll have to look it up and
he
find
has 17 shows.
There you go. 17. That way we make sure we catch them all. And then Sirhan will be joining us here at the end of the month. So that'll be great, as well as a Denver podcast. We'll just say it's going to be the end. Yes. It'll be fantastic.
The far end. Yeah.
The far end. Listen, look at Cheese. Cheese even knows.
Yes.
He's been watching their stuff.
I have.
And if you look, they're doing a lot of shorts and stuff like that. I've already promoted them a lot on the channel, so we'll be getting their full podcast here within the next week or so. So once again, thank you guys very much. We appreciate your support. And as we say at the end of each and every one of these, the only thing that's fair in life is a baseball hit between the third and first base line. Good evening, everyone. All right. Well, I can tell you that I do not like how StreamYard has changed everything. They've done a major update to their stuff since I started doing this. Maybe that's kind of what confused some of the other guys, too.
He never explained the air conditioning thing. I'll have to text him and ask him. But if we ever talk about Cowboys, he wants to come on.
He can come on whenever he wants, as long as you know who he is, and he's not going to say stupid crap.
No, he doesn't have a channel or anything. He's not a podcaster, but he knows a lot about football. He's a big Cowboy fan.
Okay.
Like he can keep a conversation going and stuff.
All right. So that's a great question to ask you right at the moment. Do you like having these guests on in the first segment and then knocking them off, or do you want to try to do? I don't know what I want to do yet, because I think bringing people on here gives us more eyes, because people who are their fans then watch this show because those guys are on this show. And
that would be the main reason to do that. Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
But I'm afraid if we do a show that is, what is going on? I don't know if we're still on the air or not, because the timer is still running in the background.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, it says we are still live. Okay. Yeah, it says we're still live. Hi, everybody. Yes. Yes, we are still talking. Go sports. Sports are great. It says we're still live here. It says
I
we're still
know,
live.
but I can't. Hang on.
So, how about them NBA draft players that we don't know? Name who's your favorite player that got drafted tonight?
I don't know enough of them to.
Boozer's son, I think. Carlos Boozer's son, I think, was in the draft. I think he ended up with